always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hello everybody and welcome to the NECC Rocket League week number 1. This is the B stream if you guys are not familiar. A brand new one here on NECC 2, but with some familiar faces coming back. My name is Bass from the Past. Joined alongside me is the lovely Hypheria, and my man, we are back yet again. You and I were here for the very first season of the NECC, and now we're here for the second semester of the year as we move into the spring semester. I'm excited to get into this one. How are you doing on this fine Tuesday, my friend?
Last I've heard, B stream stands for best stream, so we're gonna bring the best content here. We're gonna have an amazing time, and I'm excited. Obviously, we've all been sitting silently waiting for the new NECC season to start. So I'm ready. I'm elated that now it's back. We can finally we'll see some Rocket League again.
Oh yeah, we absolutely can get to see some Rocket League. And not only do we get to see some Rocket League, we're immediately kicking it off with some familiar faces as well. It's going to be Lebanon Valley Blue versus Hood College. Two teams that we've seen compete in the NECC before. But the question is what type of rosters are they going to be coming in here today? We've got large rosters, to put it simply. 4 different options on the side of Lebanon Valley, which you would think, okay, so maybe they'll have a sub. Other side, though, for Hood College, we have no idea who's coming on. We've got 6 different players registered to this roster. So Hypheria, today is going to be quite something.
They could have 2 entirely different rosters. Hood College are slamming the players on there. Slamming is actually a player there as well. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. It will be a surprise to see who ends up taking the pitch. But either way, I think they are going to come out with a fire lineup. Because it's that week 1, right? You want to have a great start. You want to be able to massively destroy your opponent. So you set the tone.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be one of these things where setting the tone in week 1 is going to be extremely important. So, we're not necessarily going to mess around here. We're going to hop into game 1 as quickly as we can, get this first game underway, because we've got a best of 5 to determine who walks away in week number 1 as a winner. And I think both of these teams are eager to find out. So, we're going to hop into this game as soon as we have got everything set on up here. Again, Hood College versus Lebanon Valley Blue, 2 teams we have seen here before. And I think in the same division as well. This is Challengers White, which I believe is our either second or third division here. So we should be getting some pretty good gameplay, but only time will tell. Game number 1 finally underway.
Here we go. Home and away. That's the way we're rocking this. It's home and away, and off the crossbar it goes right off the get-go. This first game is going to be fire. And Ader Tolt going down the line, getting shut down by Frenchie. Looking to get across the pitch, but all caps, he's back in defense. Biscuits, that's gonna be an annoying name.
We're gonna have a couple of names here that might be a little bit hard to pronounce, but hey, it's esports, baby. That's what we always gotta do. Gotta run on the fly and gotta be able to adapt here, especially in game number 1. Like we said, it's a best of 5, so plenty of time for these teams to feel each other out. But being the first team on the board is gonna be absolutely crucial. Otherwise, you're gonna have to struggle from behind the entire time, and it seems like we've got a team that knows that. Hood already getting a good offense together.
Biscuits out of defense. That's a good force through. That's just going to throw a lot in. Nader Tolt, the one to land the first goal of the semester.
And that's the first goal in favor of Hood College. They find themselves the first goal from overwhelming pressure. Like we said, it was going to be there for quite some time, and we knew that eventually something would crack. Just didn't expect it to be right away. Only a minute into this game, and already we have our first strike.
Frenchie looking to do it again. Sailor soaring through the sky. Nader Tolt there to shut it down. My gosh. Across the pitch. Old Caps just slightly missing out, but looking to return the favor. Slamming. Rings that through the backboard. It was Frenchie there. Still onto the backboard it goes. There will be a clear out to the side.
Clear out to the side for now, but it's not going to end that pressure. Once again, Hood College is putting on all of it right now, continuing to put shot after shot after shot. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to stay there for all too long. Shot into the other corner, and finally Lebanon might have a chance to strike. No, shot off target. Marg's not going to be able to get that one there, but maybe they can at least keep it in the half. 3:20 left on the clock. We're starting to see a little bit of resistance here out of Lebanon Valley, but still, no solid shots so far.
And there's Nader Tolt clearing that out to the side. Frenchie, go for a demo run, see whether he can do some damage. Might just have it on the rotation backwards. Nader Tolt barely evading that one. Old Caps now go straight down the line. There's a demo falling there. Slamini, that's a bit awkward, and they do barely evade a trouble, but they're pushing on through and they're ringing it to the backward time and time again, as surely at some point the stand won't hold up anymore.
You have to imagine at some point it feels like we're seeing such patient play here, though. Hyperia, you and I talk about this a lot when it comes to collegiate play. Usually you see some disorganization, a little bit of riskiness amongst the players. We're not seeing that here. A lot of patient play, a lot of very calculated challenges, and it's resulting in some good back and forths, but there's the first big miss. Nader Top might be able to take advantage. It's off the bar, but no follow-up will arrive. Slam tried to dive on in, but a bit too late.
Nader Tolt goes out wide. Biscuits back into the center. All Caps rings that through to the corner. Frenchie, that's an old bounce. Going to land into the center. Slamming straight there, but Frenchie there to deny him. Frenchie been popping up everywhere, time and time again. But then as soon as you miss it once in defense, All Caps will get it through, and that's a 2-goal lead.
2-goal lead, and now it's starting to get a little bit too overwhelming here. Like we said, the pressure continued to mount here. Hood College on repeat, putting shot after shot after shot, but we were expecting some sort of response out of Lebanon Valley. So far here, they haven't been able to find much of one. 2 minutes to go, and I have to imagine they'll at least get on the board, but Hyperia, they need something more of a shot, something with some power behind it.
And they're looking for it now. Nader Tolt goes out wide. Magars on the backboard, waiting patiently, but it seems like they're losing control quickly every single time of the play, and that's due to not having enough boost and also losing control over the ball quickly as a big launch gets sent downfield.
Sent downfield, but is it going to turn into a goal? Again, the pressure and the quickness we've seen out of Hood College here have really left Lebanon Valley in some awkward positions. But speaking of awkward positions, they finally do have a good counterattack. But Margs can't get the touch in the corner. Needed that one in order to just try and get his team one more shot, and they will find it. Frenchie to finally get a goal on the board.
There's the first one. That's a good start. That's at least something. Good infield pass there. Frenchie's been able to sneak that in the bottom corner. Like how we have the exact KPH, 100.33. You know, no shenanigans, just round it down nicely, 100 KPH, and all of a sudden there's only one goal in it.
There's only one goal in it, but we've got about 70 seconds left, so there's plenty of time for someone to find that one. Maybe they can get that boomer, like you said. We can see a plus 100 KPH one and really see exactly how fast it rips into the back of the net. But the one thing they... Oh,
Frenchie?
no! Need to do fast
Wait.
is get out of defense, and own goal going to be detrimental in game number one.
So, I mean, Frenchie was flipping back, and all of a sudden, pure chaos. They even got away with it as well. That really should not have happened. All of a sudden, that's a 2-goal differential yet again, due to an unfortunate error. Magars, he's looking to get it back, but we'll hit it right down into Nadertol, and that's going to be the end of the attack. Frenchies tries to salvage what's left a bit of it, but it can only hold possession. Actually, he might just be able to set up an attack.
He's trying his best at this point. Both teams really throwing everything here. Even with 40 seconds left, it seems like no one wants to slow down. And maybe he's just trying to gain some momentum from game number one. Like we said, it's not necessarily... Oh, I was going to say completely out of hand here. If they had gotten that goal, maybe they could have had an actual comeback with the last 30 seconds. But I think at this point, Hypheria, we can both agree this is going to be a turnaround game for Lebanon Valley. They're going to have to try and turn this one around during the back half of this series. And oh boy, it doesn't even look like they're going to get a goal for the road here. Sent the other way. And Hood College, maybe they'll be able to find one before the end of regulation. No, maybe not. Biscuits tries to put a shot the other way. Volleys back and forth, but the outcome will be the same nonetheless. Hood College going to take the victory here in game number one.
It's going to be a relatively simply played out one, and the home team, as it's so beautifully described, did take the victory. Obviously, that is Hood College 3-1. I think that's relatively dominant. And, you know, that's one of those ones where you're in control, but you don't make your opponents feel bad just yet. You know, they're being nice about it.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is that, like, this wasn't a blowout. This was not an excessively overwhelming game number one. It just kind of felt like Hood came out the gates with a lot of good pressure, and then eventually we started to see some sort of comeback out of Lebanon Valley, but it took quite some time. They did get some shots on. As you can see, they finished the game with 7 shots, one more, actually, than Hood College had, but at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're taking those shots if it's not going to be on target. Like we said, you really do need to be able to pressure that defense, break them down until eventually a mistake is made, because it's collegiate esports. No one's going to be playing this one perfectly, so if you can take advantage of those little errors and turn them into something greater, you most likely can find yourself a goal.
It's as simple as that. You need to utilize and hammer home those errors that do get made a little bit too often to call it a perfect game, but that's not really why we're playing here. It's great fun, and I love that it's a bit more chaotic at times. You know, it has personality. It's not just robots on the pitch. It's actually, they're having fun with it. But game number 2, there does need to be some ironing, and those mistakes need to go away.
Yeah, that's the big thing here, is I feel like the mistakes need to be just a little bit more careful. Again, game number 1 did not have many mistakes. For the most part, they played that one pretty safely, but the issues were those small errors where it started to compile. You'd make one unfortunate error, your teammate would then kind of just go on top of that error. Yeah, exactly, just more and more and more and more, and eventually there was a glaring enough error or an open space for a team to strike. Hood did that on so many different occasions that I'd be surprised if they don't kind of go into this next game with the exact same game plan. So, Lebanon Valley, you want to try and counter that. You need to play a little bit more carefully here. Not as many booming clears, not as many double commits, and just make sure that when you are on defense, you are confident in your ability to save it on the line.
And that's why it's so interesting, right? Because you can have that playstyle of, we're just going to wait for opponents to make a mistake. Then, mechanically, you can be the worst. Even rotation-wise, you could be worse than your opponent. But if you wait for that one mistake to crack on through, that's exactly what you need to be doing, and I think it's interesting to see that, but this second game, there does need to be a turnaround here from Lebanon. Otherwise, they would have to reverse sweep in that first week. It usually in that first week, the mental isn't going to be the strongest.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they're still trying to get into this NECC season, and although these two teams have been here before, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're riding off the momentum they had of the season last. They're kind of coming into this one as a fresh start, so if you're coming into this one with a fresh start, you really do have to play this as if there is no expectations of that other team. And Lebanon Valley, I don't think they're giving too much respect to Hood at this point, but it does kind of feel like they're hesitating in certain places. They're not really comfortable playing against their opponents, and it, again, starts to compile. A single error just sort of accentuates that uncomfort ability, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse from there. And that's not to say that they are playing bad or that they are playing worse than their opponents. They're just unfortunately making mistakes that you can't really afford at this level. So, can we see a turnaround here at a Lebanon Valley? I'd like to hope so. Is that a double fake kickoff? Or actually, that's a double Spanish kickoff. They both got demoed.
I have no clue what went on there, but I'm loving it. Bishots going through the skies, and to the side of my guards goes. Nader will be there to block it, but LVC, if they can get a quick start here, that would be a massive up for them. But it's Old Caps who booms one to the back of the net. Old Caps gets the first one for Hood College.
All right, apparently they're not going to slow down whatsoever. Slamming gets the pass, but I think it's more All Caps that does the slam and booms that into the back of the net, and Hood College find the lead.
Quick, simple, efficient. Yet again, waiting for that one mistake, right? If it was just an opening on the back line and he rammed it through, it had to be accurate, sure. But that's the only part that you have to worry on. Great pass towards it, and then all of a sudden, Magar tries to get back. Nader, you have to be careful.
You got to be very careful here, especially considering it's still the first minute of play. Again, they set the tone in the last series, or excuse me, last game, and that is why I think they took such an overwhelming victory, is that they got those goals early, rode the momentum from that, and then never let it slip away. This one slipped away from them, though. Magar's going to find themselves a goal, and I got a question. What happened to the defense here in Slamming? Where are you going?
I've got no answer for you, mate. I'm sorry. I would love to answer your question, but all I can do is put my hands in the air and say, shoot me, because I don't know. It's time to get back, though, LVC. It's a good start for them, but it's only tied. And at this point, we would be going to an overtime. And Frenchie, he'll try and prevent that from happening. Rams it through to the backboard, but Slamming is there waiting patiently to clear it away.
That's a good thing, though, is Hood doesn't seem like they're too shook by that last goal. They're playing still with a very patient defense, and maybe they need to at least up the pace, though. A couple of demos and a couple of beats to the ball here are leaving them in some awkward positions. And there's another one. Nader trying to get a 50-50, but it doesn't work, so it's up to Biscuits to get the follow-up touch. And Slamming, he won't quite be there, but with 3:30 left on the clock at this point, I don't know if Hood College are as comfortable as they were in game number 1. Oh, not if they keep abandoning defense.
We have to be careful with those, but Magar's unfortunately not putting enough power on it. That's a Cookser pinch and a half, going all the way towards the net, but just slightly wide on the post. Frenchie looking for that right flank for an execution onto this goal. Unfortunately not getting through entirely. Magar, phenomenal pass in field, but Nader with an interception. That goal mouth open, but not being able to be fed.
Not quite yet. They're trying their best here. They're getting a lot of decent pressure on both sides, but it just kind of feels like when it comes time for a follow-up shot, no one wants to make that dive. They saw the cross-court counters in game number 1, so now they're a bit hesitant to do the same thing here in game number 2, because we've seen it. Again, another long shot. No one's prepared. Slamming this time barely gets back, but again, this is why we're saying those long clears are becoming so prevalent. If the teams want to play this aggressive, someone's going to punish.
Magar's getting in aggressive yet again, and LVC Blue, they could get caught in a conundrum here. Slamming, he's just dribbling down the pitch, wanting to fake it out as well. Hood College, they go the entire stretch of the pitch and convert yet again.
Oh, my word, Slamming. All right, so maybe this is why he's not playing defense. He's too good at offense. He should never be on the back half. Flicks around the whole defense, puts in a second goal, and I'm not going to lie, I have to appreciate that our overlay is saying, hey, it's not that there wasn't an assist on that. It's that Slamming gets his own assist. Not quite exactly true, but you know what? I don't think it's inaccurate. Slamming doing everything on the offense there, and he's going to do everything on the defense here as well. Clears it out in High Furia with 2 minutes remaining. Hood College looking back in form.
Magars, he wants to bring that form up even more, but Hood College, every single time, their counter is just so lethal. It must be annoying to play against as well, because here they come again. They come charging through. This time, Nader takes a bit of a extended road. The scenic route, as my parents used to call it.
Scenic route. Yeah, I don't know if the scenic route is necessarily what they're looking for right now. They're looking for shots like that, but they're also looking for the defense to not be prepared, because with 100 seconds left, we're getting to that scary scenario you and I talked about. If LVC cannot win this game, they're going to have to reverse sweep against Hood College in order to take the win here in game number 1, or excuse me, series number 1. And that's not just series number 1 on the day, that's series number 1 on the season. So LVC would start off their season 0-1 and have to bounce back throughout the latter weeks. It's not the worst position to be in, Hyperia, but like we said, you really want to set the tone in week number 1.
Hood College, they're currently setting a beautiful harmony. LVC Blue, they have a lot of noise in their ear. Nader Tot looking to break through Bishops. That's awkward. Frenchie tries to clear it up. It's a tad of, it's even more awkward, but Magars finally lengthens that clear. So it gets across the halfway line. Frenchie can't get it further, though, and they're struggling in defense. LVC in the final 50 seconds. They ram one towards the other side, but slamming, he's miles back.
Well, he's not only miles back, but he's extremely prepared for the follow-up touch as well. Hood College here doing a good job at recognizing that they were overly aggressive in the first half of this game, but they're not going to get caught off guard this time. If LVC want a goal, they're going to have to slam it through, and honestly, they've tried many times, whether it's solo plays or passing plays, but Hood College have been cutting out all the options, and now they might even find the dagger instead. Going down the other way is all caps, but it's sent the other way by Bishops, and like you said, it's one of these things where I don't think this game is over, but unless LVC can find themselves some way to penetrate this defense and even get into the half, they're gonna struggle. 10 seconds left, Hyperia. They need a miracle.
Well, Frenchie could provide that right here through the side. Well, it gets past one, but Nader told they're so defensive, and they ram it right back to where it came from, and then it drops to the ground. Hood College also take home game number 2 and put themselves on match point, and all of a sudden LVC, they're gonna have to reverse sweep.
Oh my word, they're not only going to have to reverse sweep, they're going to have to reverse sweep while trying to hold on to a lead for the first time all series. The only lead they had was in that game when they scored the first goal. Then the next 2, uncontested, both responses from Hood College, and LVC just kind of left flat-footed there, trying to figure out what to do. So for Lebanon Valley at this point, they need to be able to hold themselves for pretty much a full 5 minutes. It feels like they come into the games hot and ready, and they seem like they are, out the gates firing. And then all of a sudden, there's a response. So they get back to their passive ways, and then their passive ways turns into hesitation, and then that hesitation turns into second guessing, and all of a sudden you've allowed more pressure from a team that likes to ride that confidence. So Hype, I'm not saying that this one is done and dusted, but it does feel like unless Lebanon Valley make a drastic change, game 3 is probably going the same way as the first 2.
I think it's got to do with the aggression as well, right? They're always pushing up the pitch, always wanting to be in the face of your opponents. And that only works if you get the clears, or if you get the blocks on those long clears over. They usually don't, and that's why they concede every single time. But this match is also a perfect recipe to try and get a reverse sweep, because LVC mechanically, I do think they're stronger than Hood College, but it's third game, and Hood College have been outsmart LVC at every single turn.
They've done a really good job of just playing this one with possession in mind and just making sure to take the safest route every time. Uh-oh, slamming. He misses that one, but Nader quicker to get to the ball. And like we said, this is part of the issue for LVC right now, is that they're getting these shots on target, but when it comes time for someone to make that risky play, to be that follow-up player, they're too concerned to the Hood College counterattack. So there's a middle ground here somewhere, Hyperia. I might not be the best player to tell them about that, as I'm just a caster. I'm just the guy who screams at the video game, not the one who plays it. So maybe the coach can get in their ear. Maybe someone can give them some advice, because an adaptation is necessary if LVC want to try and take the lead here.
That camera has been hanging on that 16 line pretty much the entire time of LVC Blue. They were not getting away at any point, and at that point, it just is such a nuisance. You get under so much duress, and Frenchie with an infield pass, that's a decent one, but Hood College, they're able to hold on, slamming out to the side. Magars there to intercept. Nader Toy wants to keep this ball under control, but Bishops will deny that opportunity, and all caps finally gets to clear away.
Moves back to the center, though. Is anyone there to follow it up? Nader Tut's actually going to be there, and so is Slamming. It gets all the way across the goal before eventually an LVC player gets in the way. So a little bit concerning here, as it does feel like LVC maybe aren't paying enough attention to their offense. They're getting frustrated that the offense cannot get through here, so the defense is becoming lackluster because of it. I'm not necessarily 100% concerned, because they have not conceded a goal yet here, Hyperia. But again, it does feel like they need to be aware. If Hood College get that first goal, that might just be the opening of the floodgates.
Into the center. Oh, this could be one of those scenarios. McGar's in a strugglesome position. Only 12 boosts to work with that pinch out wide. That's going to help massively to relieve some pressure, and even the further clear along the pitch. That's certainly going to help them and make them a little bit less worried about that counter-attack. That midfield battle, sure, ensue it, because at that point their back is only the counter-attacks that they really need to worry about.
They're trying to work on those counterattacks. It feels like both teams are trying to do that, and the midfield presence that we spoke about early in the game has kind of dissipated as it just goes boomer ball back and forth and back and forth. There's the midfield presence, though. Mark's going to go for this one, and they're going to get it straight on in. Defense apparently caught off guard, and we've got a boomer from midfield.
It is an old bounce. It is a very tough one to read.
Ceiling.
Yeah, that ceiling is a pesky one to be dealing with in regards. Got a bit fortunate there, but, you know, who cares about being fortunate? You get the goal in the back of the net. LVC are going to be happy with that. Bishops, that's an almost impossible position. Ball right in front of your car. Two defenders back, but yet again off the ceiling. McGar's this time swinging from the top ropes. Also bumping, slamming in his way. Frenchie up for it, tapping it down, but zero boost won't make that a goal.
It's off the bar again here, but I do like that LVC are starting to get in the face of their opponents and get a little bit more aggressive, but not at the detriment of their defense. Oh, and speaking of defense here, Slammin' gonna have to put this one out to the side and just prevent any sort of shot here at LVC. They do get one, but again, rings off the bar here, and now that could be an issue because Nadertot's got the counterattack building. Who on earth was that in the corner? Slammin', what are you doing? He went all the way up to the corner just to take the boost and then retreated. LVC should be able to get out of their half now, as I didn't think there'd be more pressure, but no one wants to make the challenge. Patient play at LVC, it's chaos erupts on the pitch.
Slammin' yet again had a great opportunity. He was going to bounce on down right into him. Slammin' this time quickly gets the better of his opponent. Nadertot with a simple shot to the backboard, setting up his teammate. All caps there as well, but McGarge has been impeccable in that defensive position, and as soon as he's not there, Slammin', he will return the favor and get a goal back for Hood College.
See, this is why you look at midfield and don't go for the boost in your opponent's half. You can be prepared for shots like that because Slammin' rips it into the top left. And there you go, Hood College. They go back to a little bit more of a traditional rotation, and it pays off almost immediately. 1 minute remaining at this point, and I have to imagine that LVC are getting a little bit nervous here. They feel like the pressure is starting to slip away from them, and unless they can find a response, Hyperia, this series could either go to overtime or it could just end outright.
Hood College. They would love to end it outright. No pressure anymore. It's one of those things, right? Obviously, the pressure is on the side of LVC Blue, but Hood College, as soon as they drop one game, that reverse sweep becomes a bit more likely. It starts to be in the back of your mind, and as soon as it's in the back of your mind, that's where it could start manifesting itself. Slammin' goes out wide.
Goes out wide, but can he turn this into an offense here? You can see all caps desperate to just touch that one out of midfield, but uh-oh, that's a flick high. Nadertot, what a 50-50 to keep that out of the half. With 20 seconds left, it's more than just keeping it out of the half. It's trying to get one last offense before the end of regulation. Slammin' puts it up high. Is anyone going to be there to follow up? No, it's sent out to the side, but I don't think it is going to be the end of the offense. Frenchie beats the offensive player, and it might turn into a counterattack now for LVC. Can they keep this one up? Wait a minute, this is a pass to Nader. All caps, what are you doing? He cuts off his teammate, and what could have been the dagger completely misses the mark.
It's unfortunate. You always land in that position, you think, wait, this is a perfect pass towards me. You kind of forget about your teammates, and, well, you get that situation. It's completely understandable. We've all been there, lad. It's no worries whatsoever. But now just go and get the victory and make up for your team. LVC Blue, they've got a bit to make up as well here. 2 games is what they need to tie it up with Hood College, and this is where it starts. This one goal could send them, could propel them forward. All caps goes into the corner, and McGarsh is going to be out of the play.
Oh, but Nader's got time here to... Uh-oh, that's not the greatest touch. McGar's going to have an easy 50-50, so this now should turn into some pressure for LVC. They're even going to put some shots middle, but again, no one there for the follow-up. Hyperia, we've spoke about this all day. The issue for LVC here is that they've got faith in their first attacker, but they do not have faith in the second one to make that risky challenge. Perfect pass center. No one is there to follow it up, and again, it feels like LVC, they're okay with these one-and-dones, but there's the issue. As soon as you make a mistake, it's going to leave vulnerability on the other end. Someone's up for this. Nader wants the double. He'll send it up. No one's there. Slammin' puts it off target. But again, scary scenario here for LVC. They cannot afford to play like this. If they want to get it through, they need a follow-up touch, and they do. And even in! Another one in! Frenchie to put it away, and the series will continue.
This is where the road starts. They've laid their first brick towards that comeback. Frenchie to put it in, even taunting Slam in there a bit, putting it close to him, and then in the end, converting LVC Blue. It's the first one, but they do still have such a long road to go. It's looking to be a phenomenal series, though. That's a great start for them.
Oh, it's a fantastic start. Not only is it a fantastic start, but it's also exactly what we were hoping for. We were talking about how critical we had to be of the fact that they were throwing these one-and-done rotations. Someone would go in, it's an air dribble, or maybe it's a good shot off the bar, and usually you need a second player to be there to follow it up and slam that one home. Instead, we just kept seeing those one-and-done offenses until the very end. As soon as Lebanon Valley started getting those repeat attacks, where it would just be offensive shot after offensive shot after offensive shot, they finally found a way to find the weakness in this Hood College side. So, Hyperia, we may still have a series on our hand. That is by far the best I've seen Lebanon Valley play, but now they need to do it all over again.
They're starting to be more careful in the back half, and that's a phenomenal save as well to start this game off. Hello, LVC Blue. That's how you defend it, Frenchie. That's how you attack, but all caps showing some defensive capabilities as well.
I'm sorry, which division is this? This is Challengers Division? What just happened? Redirect out of midfield and it's blocked perfectly off the bar. And on the other end, breakaway play and it's also popped off the bar. I'm stumbling over my words because I don't know how to describe what we're seeing. From such a calm series back and forth to chaos erupting in game number 4. Hyperia, when we said the series wasn't done, I didn't think it was not this done. We aren't even started.
Yeah, you're starting on P. They're pushing P. They're working their butts off right now, and that's only for this one game, for one goal, and that's how hard they have to work. Nader Talk going out wide, gets a boost as well, and this is going to be a dangerous position. McGar's caught off guard, but oh no! Bishops! Oh, that hurts.
No! Oh my, this is an own goal of epic proportions. To be fair, Slayman probably should have hit that. He just flipped a little bit late, so I have a feeling that Bishop was just kind of expecting that hit to go there and was kind of playing behind him in case maybe it bounced up high and he gets slammed into the backboard. I mean, honestly, it's the correct rotation. It's just unfortunate that a player misses the ball and you happen to be exactly where that misses. So now, Lebanon Valley need to recollect themselves and try and keep the series alive. With 4 minutes remaining, I've got faith in them to turn this one around, Hyperia, but man, that's got to be demoralizing.
And if you put on a phenomenal shot, it doesn't go through. You just slide your opponent a quick tenner, and then they'll own goal. All caps now on the counter. This is where they start to find their momentum. Of Frenchie's rapping on the rotate. Vicious going the right way this time, looking for the follow-up as well, but it's Slamming who responds first, and a double commit out of LVC Blue. That's going to stumble the attack, but they will not fumble the entire attack. It's Slamming who goes underneath, but LVC Blue, they're cranking up the pressure.
They're putting a lot of pressure on. They're also starting to get some demos as well. Something we haven't seen a lot in the series has been that physical play, so I'm glad to see that it is finally evolving. But with 3 minutes remaining and you're already down by 1, I don't know how much adaptations are going to be necessary here, as much as figuring out the game plan that worked for you last time. Repeat shots to constant pressure. Eventually the defense will crack, but you do need to put the shots on target. That one goes off the side post and out to the side here and to the corner. And Hood College now might even have a breakaway play. Slamming, not sure what he's doing there. I thought maybe he'd go for the demo or maybe he'd go for the pass. Either way, he just kind of approaches offense and then backs off. But who am I to judge? It's working out. Hood College with a lot of pressure here, but can they convert?
And they need to sustain this pressure as well. That's actually a decent shot, but it's saved off the goal line. Fished out, Slamming yet again. Returns the favor to put it in the box. And clear out wide. McGar is finally able to follow it up. LVC Blue, they're in the attack now. Nader, he puts an end to that. Says absolutely not on my end, not on my pitch. All caps. He tries to extend this attack, but their stay is not welcome. LVC Blue, they're fighting heavily. They're protesting, and McGar, in the end, puts it down the other end.
But it's not going to be enough, I think, to stop the counterattack here. All Cap's going to boom this one out, and Nader is prepared. He's got an air dribble, flip reset, but he's blocked by the defense. Ambitious plays it. No way, not another own goal. Hood College, they find their second goal in almost identical fashion.
I think it was Frenchie. It was Frenchie.
Okay,
no. Vicious, you're safe. It's all good. Now, your teammate made an own goal as well, which is just in unfortunate fashion. You can both move on with your lives and accept that this might not be the game with college. They're getting a bit fortunate, but LVC Blue, it's time to make your own luck.
Yeah, this might not be the series, unfortunately, here. They have fought tirelessly, but with about 100 seconds left, they need something more than a solid offense. They need shots that just boom into the back of the net. Or how about some passing plays out of the corner? LVC, where was this the first couple games?
They've been attempting that, but that is actually what put them into a tricky position. It's a phenomenal passing field, but the problem is it does take 2 players, right? And as soon as it does get intercepted, that's 2 players completely out of the mix. McGar's rightly off the get-go can actually put himself into the mix, but gets off both posts. The passing field, Frenchie's still there. That's a quick tie-up.
Oh my word, out of nowhere they decide, all right, so apparently we don't know how to, break the defense. Why don't we just start passing it to each other and eventually make them look foolish? Because that's what we're seeing here. Hood College are doing a good job at holding down the defense, but when the passes come in, they're attempting to cut them out, but just can't quite meet the mark. And unfortunately, like we said, minor errors aren't going to cause goals, but when they compound and they turn into an awkward defense, they absolutely are going to leave you vulnerable. And speaking of which, Nadertot sees a little bit of a slice, but cannot get through. With 117 remaining here, Hypheria, we're getting down to that golden goal scenario. The next team to strike might just take this one, and for LVC, they need it to be them just to see the series continuing.
LVC, they've been quick. They've been efficient on that counter-attack, or at least on getting the goals back that they need. Hood College are in a peculiar position right now where they were leading by 2, and all of a sudden they have to yank it through yet another time. Nadertot against Frenchie. Frenchie comes out victor. Has been to the gym a fair few more times. All caps. Zips catch on the backboard and just patiently wait. Counterattack started. All caps quick on it. That's going to be on target, and that's Hood College in the lead yet again.
Oh my word, it seems like those last 2 goals did not shake them too thoroughly here, because All Caps, he is quick to this one, sees a good 50-50, recognizes they've extended just a little bit past midfield, and if he can get one more pop right over the last defender, that is right into the net, as it has shown. 41 seconds left on the clock. Time for LVC to show what they are made of. I've got faith in them to bring this one back, but it's not just faith that they need a goal, and they need it quick.
Gars goes out wide, and Nadertot that interception is going to buy them some time. That's the only thing that Hood College need to do right here, right now, is just buy time, take it patient, and get that ball up into the skies, because that's a lot of time wasted every single time it goes up flying high. But McGar's, he can fly high for his team here. Pass along to Bishops. He wants to redeem himself, but quickly gets stopped at the get-go at the roots. Nadertot wants to put these roots in the ground and sustain this lead for Hood College. The punch through, not good enough, and it's Hood College who come away with a win.
Hood College take the win here in their very first series in the NECC semester. Congratulations to Hood on moving on 3-1, a definitive victory to put it simply. But I do think we haven't seen the last of Lebanon Valley here, Hypheria. It seems like it took them a little while to warm up, but once they finally did, oh boy, was that quite a series.
It's that adjustment that they needed for a tad bit, adjust to themselves and also to their opponents, try and get that rotation going, being caught off guard a few too many times in that attacking position where the counterattack was unstoppable. It's unfortunate, but it happens and you regain. It's only the first week. Who cares about the first week? It's warm-up week.
I don't know if I'd call it warm-up week, but I do understand what you're saying here. The sentiment is true. If you do mess up in week 1, you've got enough time that you can turn this one around. So I think that is definitely a good sentiment to leave here for Lebanon Valley. But the good thing is, for the other side in Hood College, they can now ride this momentum throughout the rest of the season. They've got many more games coming up, but not here today. The good thing is, though, we do have more games coming up here. We're going to take a quick little break, get everything set up for our second series, but when we return, we will be continuing here in this Challengers division, moving over to the black division rather than the white, when we're going to have Milwaukee School of Engineering versus Ohio University. You are not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
With every word that I've said, fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these dreams I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these dreams I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do, that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel?
Hello everybody and welcome back to the NECC Rocket League week number 1 here on the NECC2 stream. Once again, my name is Bash the Past, joined alongside me, my main man Hyperion. Hype, we are here on our second game of the day, or excuse me, second series of the day, but we're not moving divisions, we're just going to go to the other part of the division. Previously in Challengers White, now we go to Challengers Black as we see Milwaukee School of Engineering take on Ohio University in our second series of the day, and my friend, I'm excited to get into this one.
Well, and let's have a look at the roster directly. You know, you're excited, let's oblige. Let's get those players up. And on the Raiders, they're rocking Benton, Cow Tickler, and Pillow. Those are some beautiful names, especially Cow Tickler.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be going by Cow Tickler here today. Might be going by JT on the pitch, but either way, we're going to know him as Cow Tickler. We're also going to know him as Mechanical Engineer, as a sophomore, who, honestly, I'm not too surprised. This is an engineering school. To see pretty much everybody here with an engineering degree does make some sense, except for Benton, who is apparently a sophomore. Yeah, studying sophomore. Maybe undeclared. Hey, listen, man, I did the same thing when I was at college, so I can't blame him. But that's on the side of the Milwaukee School of Engineering. On the other side, we have got Ohio University. Ohio University University's lineup tonight, Floppy, Bull, and Sanchez or Sands. And these guys, they're also going to be a very formidable opponent.
Certainly. They did have those activation games, so we do have a little bit of information. And, oh, they started off great, Ohio. They had one victory, and their opponents, the Raiders, they were able to bag themselves 2 victories and also 2 losses, and nicely balanced out. So just purely basing off of that, it's going to be tough. I just want to see them play.
Well, the good thing is we can do exactly that. Game number 1 underway. Like we said, Milwaukee going to be in the blue, Ohio in the yellow. And already we can see that they're not going to waste a moment. Out the gates firing, and Hyperia, yeah, we might have a series on our hands.
Heavyweight fight, punch landing either side, and Pillow wants to bring that ball down to the other end as well, but loses control on his ball to take control. So it's something I am going to be on the lookout for is this goal happening 100% of the time. Sanchez soaring on through.
Well, maybe we're going to have to remember this name. It seems like chat wants us to remember. Sanchez has got a whole lot of fans here and already displaying why. First goal on the board here very quickly for Ohio University. And the question is can we see a response here out of the Raiders? Like you said, they're a very solid team, and they're going to need to show it like they do here. Pillow with an immediate response.
Okay. Well, this is going to be an interesting one. I already said a trading blows, heavyweight fight, left, right, and center. This is literally the case right now. 1-1, 30 seconds in, 2 goals quickly. I do like that, but it might just be a third one up to this guy Sanchez searching for yet again. Flip resets to go underneath. What is that?
Woo, would have been something special, but not quite able to show it off. And I fear we're starting to see it seems like these 2 teams, they not only have come here to play, they've come here to stunt at this point. Just trying to become fan favorites. You can understand why. It's week 1. You got to get your name out there. Got to make sure that people remember you. And if you put shots on target like that, they'll do exactly that. Benton with the second goal.
Flashiness in the end doesn't get you anywhere. You need to be able to hit the ball consistently, and Sanchez missing out there puts his team in a tough position. Benton of the 50 kph roller getting that on through, and Milwaukee, they're doing a great job here. 2-1 the score. Floppy looking to tie things up, but I think Sanchez, he's going to be the key to the attack.
Did unfortunately miss that ball, though. That probably should have been an extended pressure there at Ohio University, but unfortunately they're not quite on the mark, so they're going to have to try and run this one back. They're immediately back to the pressure, though, so Sanchez should have a shot here, but dusted by the defense and sent the other way. Bowl just has to try and repossess this one. And Ohio, they are getting some decent offense together here, but I think they're just getting caught off guard. The Raiders playing such a good posture on the back end that they're not even getting the shots towards that final third.
To the corner. Did reach that final third. Sanchez, they're not having a shot at it though. And Floppy won't count as one just yet. Pillow, decent position, but decides to wait it out. And at that point, there will be ball going on through. It's an awkward bouncer, and Milwaukee, they concede another.
And there it is, another one on the board here. Now you're starting to see why this is going to be such a close back and forth game. Bull going to put this one in. Unfortunately, we're starting to see a little bit of difficulty in terms of, I would say, stability here. It feels way too volatile. No one has been able to hold on to possession, and as a result, just kind of going back and forth and back and forth. So 2-2 here with 3 minutes remaining. I gotta hope that maybe some sort of normalcy starts to show itself, but honestly, if we keep getting high-flying, stunting shots, I'm not gonna complain.
Absolutely not, mate. I mean, it's chaotic in the defense, and there's another goal for you, mate. Sanchez. You know he's scoring this one. He's done it before, and he'll do it again.
Oh, he does exactly that. The question is whether or not they're going to be able to continue up with this pace again. Volatility everywhere. Sanchez showing himself off as that star-studded striker. The question is it going to be enough? A single goal lead here with 3 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for a response, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one almost immediately. Bowl up to the sky, and no, it'll at least stay a little bit civil for now.
Floppy. Tapping that out wide. Goes towards Benton. Oh, that's a phenomenal read, but unfortunately not quite the power behind it. Sanchez didn't get the read whatsoever. Bull still in a position to extend the play, and that's why having patience can be such a such a worthy thing to be doing in this game. You know, make sure that you actually get the correct hit. Pillow was not patient there and took that ball out of the hands of JT. Sanchez going for a flip reset on the counter, and that's going to bounce on into the center. Bo, that's a phenomenal pass, but Floppy, he pulls the trigger way too early, and that bullet swerved right of it.
Ooh, but maybe they can find something here. Two-man attack and almost pinches directly into the net. Instead, JT and Benton just have to try and keep this in the half, and they'll do exactly that. Benton, though, not on target with a follow-up, but at least JT is there to keep it alive. And at this point, let alone getting out of the half, they can't get out of the final third here. All of Milwaukee just putting on the pressure. Finally, Ohio will find a counterattack. But at this point, it's not up to Ohio to find another counterattack. With 100 seconds left, Hyperia, we're going to need to see something out of the Raiders if they want to try and send us to at least an overtime.
Floppy, got to pinch that in field. Ball again up early, and that's Pillow who has an open net. Is that going to roll on in? Pillow, he gets the goal, and Milwaukee, the Raiders, they get another one.
Ooh, Pillow cross court just kind of sees that Bull has a bit overcommitted there and sends it all the way to the other end. And unfortunately, we've seen this many times here today. Fortunately, I would say for MSOE, they're obviously going to take that, but they need to play a little bit more consistently. Again, this first game feeling very much like a first game. A lot of feeling out, a lot of odd touches here and there. That one almost worked out in favor of Ohio, but they're going to have to go back to the drawing board because now we enter that terrifying scenario. 90 seconds left. This is basically golden goal territory.
Oh, Bullies looking to score one here, but it's Pillow with it in and out. Sanchez from distance gonna put it up high. JT, that's a triple commit, but they all end up missing it. Chaos on the side of Milwaukee, and they do convert. That is terrible.
Oh boy, that's a bit unfortunate, especially when you have all three players going up. I think sometimes you gotta disrespect your teammates. I understand, you know, letting them call you off, saying, oh, I got it, no, I got it, no, I got it. You know, everybody trying to make sure they communicate correctly. But when all three of you say you got it, and then all three of you back off, maybe someone's got to just play a little bit selfish there. The good thing is for MSOE, they've got plenty of time to turn this one around. The Raiders are not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. They just need to get out of their half first, and it looks like they will. Pillow with a good 50-50. Sanchez to try and keep it out. But as Benton is there, I was going to say, should be able to get around, but apparently not. Sanchez is going to lay the center, but no one is there. A huge opportunity for Ohio to put this one away, but instead, they'll need to play some defense on the other end for now.
Floppy goes up high, and it does actually get that boost grab as well. Pillow went all the way back. 1 second touch, gets it over Floppy, but that does mean he doesn't have control anymore over that play. Ball gets blocked, and that might just roll on in. Sanchez, he gets the clear away. Pillow there to extend this attack, going up the ceiling, but that ball hanging way too low for him to catch it again. Ball now into the center, and that's going to go all in, and Benton doesn't do anything about it. Pillow goes out wide, and this is do or die for MSOE.
They've got 10 seconds left, and they're going to try and march into offense one more time. JT puts it up high. Bull easily sends that one away out to midfield, but it will bounce, so it will stay up. Sanchez needs to make the save and does exactly that. Ohio University hang on and barely take the win here in game number 1.
Only barely, and that was due to a mistake. We already said it earlier tonight that those mistakes, they're going to come in clutch, or they're going to come in detrimentally for your team. It just depends who makes them, right? And it's one of those cases where the ball was hanging in front of the Raiders' net a few too many times where they didn't have a player connecting to it, and Sanchez just soared through. Easy goal, easy tapping, and that's something they're going to need to prevent.
Yeah, they need to be very careful. It feels like there's a little bit too much space being given right now. The two teams have shown that they're very quick, very mechanical, but unless they're able to do that pretty much perfectly every time, you're going to start to make some risky plays. And that's not a bad thing. We talk about this a lot. The way to define two different teams is who's going to make those risky plays and who's going to execute upon them more efficiently. So I think that both of these teams still have a little bit more of a feeling out period here. Game number 2 might be underway, but I don't think it's going to guarantee that they're going to be done with that little bit of awkwardness from game number 1. Good example there. JT just a bit off the mark, and unfortunately, an opportunity gone awry for the Raiders.
Always when there is a high-scoring game, you have to wonder what's going on. Why is it so high-scoring? And I think it's just those early nerves setting on through. Making a few mistakes and also getting opportunities up the wazoo. Ball, another one in Ohio. They get the first one yet again.
Get the first one, and they do so very quickly. Great 50-50 from Sanchez. Nothing to take away from it, but I expected some sort of resistance from the defense there. Miss on the backboard. No one else prepared for it, and unfortunately, this is kind of the name of the game right now. Little mistakes, you have to be aware of them, and if you're not prepared to counter them, or at least be careful with them, it could come back to bite you. A big opportunity here as the Raiders go the other way, but not able to get it past the defense. 2 shots in a row, make it a third. That one off the mark, though, and JT will have to go back to the drawing board.
Benton up for it. That's a good extend. That's a perfect tap over from Bull, purely vaulting up high and getting that over. That is an exquisite tap. Look at that pace.
Oh, it's just so quick. And again, I feel like this is an issue we talked about in the first series of the day as well. MSOE here are not playing poorly, but they're getting a bit impatient. They've seen so many of their offenses not come to fruition that they're like, all right, you know what? Fine, we're going to send the house and hopefully something will stick. But guess what? When you send the house, you still got to defend the backyard. And apparently they don't seem to understand that, because on repeat here, Ohio are launching these over the entire roof and sending it into the goal here. 4 minutes remaining. I've got faith in the Raiders to turn this around, but not if they keep on abandoning defense. Another opportunity, and Bull will already pick up a hat trick.
That was a 3-on-1, and there was no way JT was getting anywhere close to it. Floppy trying to section him as well. Just want to go back a tad. You can send the house, but you've got to defend the back garden.
Yes.
Are you playing Plants vs. Zombies?
Bro, I love that game. I beat that game more times than I can count. I bet you money that I have played that game and beaten it more times than any other game I own. Probably not a good thing, though, considering I'm a Rocket League caster and not a Plants vs. Zombies caster. But you know what?
That.
Yeah, just imagine. Seriously, dude, I'd do that in a heartbeat.
Plants vs. Zombies caster over Rocket League caster? Yes, sir.
RLCS, move out of the way. Plants vs. Zombies is here to stay. Anyways, 90 seconds into this one, Ohio have held on to their lead. They've been slowed down a little bit here, but I don't know if they're necessarily not efficient. Feels like now they're just kind of keeping pressure up.
Ohio, they're running away with this, though. They've got 3 goals already, and Sanchez, he is looking to prevent one on their side. It's awkward. Sanchez is on the Ohio team. It's all right. No worries.
I know, but I wanted someone to be there for the follow-up again. It feels like there's just this little bit of in-between here where the Raiders, they're seeing opportunities, but they're so scared of the first couple goals that they don't want to get too aggressive anymore, and they need to.
Well,
there it is. I was about to say, if someone's not there for this, then they got to go way the heck back to the drawing board, but they do not. They're doing great right now, and I love that they're back on the board.
Now, they're getting more aggressive. Sometimes you have to put yourselves out there. Sometimes you're just going to have to go for it. Say, heck it, we'll go for it. We'll try. Otherwise, you're never going to find out, right? If you're going to sit back, you know what happens. Ohio, they're going to take control of you. There you have all the ropes, and they are in complete control of this game. That's not anymore MSOE. They're fighting back. JT, that flick's not going to do its job.
And they're trying their best here. Like you said, they're fighting back. But the unfortunate thing is they are still finding a ton of resistance out of this Ohio side. Shot after shot after shot. They are not allowing them to find any sort of pressure out of the half here. Oh, and that could be worse if Floppy can find something off the ceiling here. Has a flip in the back. 50-50. Sends it to the corner. And right now, Milwaukee, they're feeling the pressure, but maybe they can find some relief. Cross court, and Bull needs to make a desperate save.
Still in the Ohio side, and the Raiders, they want to do some pirating on their side. Benton onto the backboard. Pillow there to block the clear away to at least sustain the pressure. Pillow in field now quickly stopped at its Rose. Benton and Sanchez also engaging in that 50. Pillow with a ringer. It's Floppy who takes that out to the side. JT still there. They're keeping this into the attacking half, and Sanchez finally might just be able to clear it further than the midfield line. He did get far, but Floppy is the one to put it further. Ball needs to be quick, and he is.
He's quick enough, but can he be able to keep this out of the half? I don't think JT recognized how open that was. He got the demo, but probably should have turned around and cut it immediately. Instead, he leaves it out for a teammate, and a huge opportunity, again, gone awry here for the Milwaukee side. They're still keeping up the pressure, though. Pillow putting in some more shots, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. What?
Spice.
Where did that come from?
Hello, Pillow. Putting them to sleep here. That's beautiful. Oh, off of Sanchez. Hey, that's mind games. That's just 4 head, 5 head, 6 head. Counting lessons, 12 head.
counting lessons. Honestly, at this point, I think they're just going to have to count down the clock here if you're Ohio University. They've been throwing a lot of offense at their opponents, but maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe they should be focusing on defense here for the last minute of play because I fear, if you remember correctly, this is a 3-0 lead within the first minute. Since then, it's 2 uncontested goals in a row from the Raiders.
The Raiders, yeah, they're putting in the pressure and they're putting in the work. Benton putting in the goal as well to the back of the net. It goes, and Benton, he ties it all back up.
And there we go, back to a tied ball game, and what was 2 uncontested goals have now trickled into 3. Chad was calling this one over, but Chad, we might not even be ending this one in regulation. We may have an overtime on our hands. 50 seconds left, and unless we see something happen here to end this one outright, we're going to yet another overtime here today. And honestly, I'm never going to complain about an overtime. You gotta love it.
Oh, yeah, the pressure does get up, though, and Sanchez, he's already cranking up the pressure. JT down the other end, I think that's slightly off in the cloud of smoke, so we can only make assumption, and finally, we come to a conclusion that it was indeed off target. Ball getting close to that 1K score. Floppy, Pillar rather, in field. You need to be careful, you don't want to make a mistake at these closing phases, but Floppy is there, and he's just flopping that back into the net.
I think this was a distraction play. If I'm not mistaken, I think JT actually gets the demo here. Yeah, Bull gets demoed, but because of the fact that Bull gets demoed, it turns into a smoke screen. Heads up idea to try and take out that distraction in the net, but unfortunately, it's going to come back to bite them. Again, disaster strikes in the last 30 seconds, and now MSOE, they need a response. They've got a ball off the backboard, but all they can find is a 50-50.
Well, Benton, he's still got a bit of time. 10 seconds is all that they've got, though. And Floppy, he's feeling it now. He's come alive, and he's knocking them down into the dirt, burying them 6 feet deep.
Oh my, oh my. All right, Floppy, I get it. You want to end this one outright. You want to move on to 2-0 and force MSOE into a reverse sweep if they want to take this. And with 9 seconds left, barring a miracle, High Fury, I think that's where we're at. Milwaukee going to have to fight from behind, and they're going to have to fight down from 6-3, game number 2. Another goal goes in. And if it wasn't already set in stone before, forget the chisel. We brought out a jackhammer.
It just hurts, though. You finally were able to craft it back into that tight scenario. And also, we were thinking about an overtime. That was 40 seconds ago of in-game time. What happened? What went on in this game that all of a sudden it's 6-3?
Honestly, I think it's a trend. They want to keep with a trend. 3 uncontested goals in a row to Ohio, 3 uncontested goals in a row to Milwaukee, and then 3 uncontested goals in a row to Ohio. Obviously, the next game is going to start off with 3 in a row going to the Raiders here now, or at least we'd like to hope so, because if they don't find overwhelming momentum in this next game, Hyperia, that's the end of the series. Another potential sweep here if they're able to clean this one up and just close it out. I don't think it's a guarantee, but with the way that this has been going with the volatility, honestly, I have no idea what to expect.
Neither, mate. That's the honest to God truth. I've got no clue, and I do know that you have to expect a lot from Sanchez. At least mechanically, he is superb. Now, the only problem that usually goes on with mechanical players like that is that they tend to overstep their mark, right? They tend to try and pull the bag of tricks out at every single occasion. You know, it's that uncle who tries to show some magic at every which opportunity, also at funerals, and sometimes it's just not necessarily the best occasion for that magic, and just a simple thing will do the job. Bold exactly explains my point.
Yeah, that's a really good example of that, because you can see JT not sure what to do there, so he tries to go up. Pillow, rather than just maybe clearing it out to the side, tries to catch it, and I don't know if you should be catching anything in defense here. It's an error that we've seen at every level. Even professional players I have seen do the exact same thing, but the unfortunate thing here is that the professional players usually have a little bit of a bounce back. There's not time for a bounce back here. Yes, there's plenty of time on the clock, but with the 3rd game underway and Ohio already in the lead, it is now or never. The Raiders need to buck up and figure out how to get this game going.
Buck up and tuck your opponent in. Pillow into JT. Sanchez. Well, that's a good recovery, but unfortunately the follow-up thereafter, not quite so, and his teammate wants to have a piece of the action. Floppy just getting involved. Yeah, sometimes you feel a bit lonely in the back half, and you want to accompany your teammate. Pillow, and that's a good first touch, but Ball and Sanchez both covering that specific area in Ohio. They're defending properly as well, not overstepping their mark, not going too aggressive into the attack, just slowly waiting for their victory.
Just slowly awaiting here, and I do like that. This patient play is something we haven't necessarily seen throughout this game, and that's exactly why you can see Ohio are aware that many of the goals they have conceded throughout the series have been counterattacks that have just come out of nowhere. So now they're holding some defenders back. With already the lead in the bag, they don't necessarily need to push this offense. They just need to hold on and play carefully, and oh boy, that's not too careful. They're going to leave a lot of pressure, but no one's going to approach MSOE with a huge opportunity, and maybe they're the ones that are playing too passive.
They've still got time. 3.5 minutes for only 1 goal, right? In Ohio, because they've scored 3 in a row every single time they have scored, it just feels like Ohio is ahead by a landslide. But it's still relatively close, and an infield pass like that from Benton could be lethal, but they do have to put a man in that position to try and convert that play. JT now going down the line, getting a flick over. One decent demo on the back line, but 0 boost in the tank of JT. Floppy quick to it. Benson just floating in the air.
I think we're starting to see another issue that I didn't really recognize before. Never mind, no issues here. Apparently there are. Bull will make the save, and I thought that there was going to be a goal in favor of Milwaukee, but I guess not. So I'll go back to my previous point here. Milwaukee seem to be using demos in the wrong ways. If that makes any sense, I know Hypera, you probably understand what I'm saying, but they're just kind of going for demos for the sake of going for demos. And that's great and all, but it's not why you use them in Rocket League. The way to utilize demos is to do it at perfect times. When someone's set up in a position, you take them out of the position, and that hole can't be filled in time. When you're just going for demos randomly, all you're really doing is overextending. That's the basic way to put it, and that's what we're seeing right now on repeat. Milwaukee are trying to throw everything at their opponents, and when nothing sticks, they just go for physical plays, and it's leaving them vulnerable. A really good example there. The shot is sent off to the side as the save is made, but I don't know if this is necessarily complete confidence here at MSOE. They need to be careful because they're playing a little bit too aggressive for my liking.
Oh, this is a good bump. JT couldn't get the pass in field. Gets a second tap on the backboard, but the 0 boost in the tank's going to deny any further pressure. Benton trying to dive on through. That's a good demo. Might just open up space, but there's nobody really there for the follow-up. So Benton forced to turn in himself. Bull and Sanchez both have that covered. 50 now engaged in the midfield. Sanchez on the carry outwards denies the demo happening, and then also pre-flips into the challenge. Pillow taking it to the skies, but there will be no cloud action there.
Ooh, but this one's still up. There could be a shot if Floppy can get to it. A bit lackluster, though, and JT easily able to get to it. But again, I'm starting to see the same sort of issues here. You can see MSOE are so aggressive right now. They really have that kitchen sink mentality. Send everything at their opponents and hope that something hits the back of the net. With a minute remaining at this point, I don't know if this chaos is really going to help them out. They need something methodical if they want to penetrate this defense. And as they send it all the way back to their half, they're now also wasting time. Less than a minute remaining. Can they find a response? Indeed, they can. Pillow to tie us up.
And quickly to it, I would love for any random stranger to try and explain the kitchen sink mentality, see what they answer. Beautiful goal, though. Don't want to take away from that.
I think that the kitchen sink mentality is probably a bit of a Rocket League terminology, if you will, at this point. So, to everybody else, maybe a bit confusing.
Well, Ohio, they're going to have to clear things up because the Raiders, they're combining. They're whipping up something lovely and dishing it out to Ohio.
All right, well, that's just disgusting. JT, what a pass, and Benton, what a shot. I don't really blame the last defender for moving out of the net there. They're probably thinking, yeah, that's not going on. Oh, it's into my net. All right, well, now to try and recover. 48 seconds left. We've seen Ohio make some comebacks even more miraculous than this in the last couple of seconds, but can they do that when the pressure is on? They win this game as the end of the series, I fear. They lose it. MSOE start that comeback.
Ohio. They're getting put under pressure here, but this breakaway by Sanchez, that could be big. He rams it to the backboard. That's going to be ringing on through, but Pillow there to get the clear away. Ball out with a misser. That could be costly. Benton has to deal with Sanchez charging through, and he doesn't not deal with it properly. Floppy, Ball, and Sanchez both converting on that play, and Floppy all of a sudden finds himself an open net, and of course, he's going to convert that.
Am I allowed to say that I expected this? Honestly, with the way that Ohio just kind of flipped a switch once they came off that kickoff, they immediately got aggressive, immediately got in the face, and they just didn't let the Raiders find any comfort here. So now with 15 seconds left, I'd like to say we're heading into an overtime, but I fear with the way that this series is gone, I think we might just find a winner before the end of regulation.
There they go. Potentially Sanchez breaking through, but it could just as well be the Raiders. Floppy staying underneath, cutting it in field. Now all he needs to do is that final thing and get it into the box. Ball up high, but that just facilitates JT. Gonna put that up high with Sanchez, and we do have an overtime pass. What you thought was impossible, merely a fickle of imagination, has become reality.
Hey, listen, man, sometimes the impossible is possible, and sometimes I was going to say an overtime can last for a pretty short while there. It looked like Ohio had a chance to close this out before even the 30-second mark, but instead, it's sent the other way. MSOE find themselves, I think, in offense, but apparently not. Not sure how to read the pinch to the other side of the court, and I honestly can't blame them, but at the same time, MSOE, you need to take advantage of all the opportunities you get. The Raiders have not had many shots throughout this game, so when they arrive, you need to do the most with them.
Sanchez puts it up close. Try and get the follow-up. The pass infield by Pillow. Executed to perfection because there was nobody there.
No.
I know, Benson, you don't want this to end that way. Oh, no, that's absolutely terrible. The back line and the mistake greater than anything that's happened this game. Benton's going to be kicking himself for that one.
Oh, no. I have so many questions. I'm wondering if Benton accidentally backflipped. I'm wondering if Benton was just not in position and said he couldn't get to it. I'm wondering if maybe he was called off. There was Pillow behind him who did have a route to the ball, and maybe Pillow thought, no, don't touch that. You're just going to pop it center. I can get this and pop it out, but then he doesn't get there in time. A lot of questions up in the air for the end of that ball game, but unfortunately, they're not going to be answered. Hype, that's the end of the series.
So get the dusters out, get the janitors in, because there's some sweeping action here. It's unfortunate for your first week, but there were a little bit of nerves. I think that was pretty visible on the pitch, that it wasn't necessarily their play that was bad. It was just maybe their mentality, and all of a sudden getting 3 goals against, having to bring it back, bringing it back, and then getting shut down still in regulation with another 3 goals on top. It just gets out of hand. It's impossible, and then you have to play that third game. Oh, the mental game must be rough.
Yeah, it's very difficult, especially going into an overtime like that where you were so close to closing out the game, and then 15 seconds left, the other team scores on you and then moves on to take the overtime as well. Rough situations here for the Milwaukee School of Engineering, but the good thing is that this is only week number 1. They've got plenty of time to turn this one around, High Furia, so that means we've got more series to get on to here. Folks, we are not done for the day. We have still got a whole lot left here on the NECC Stream 2, but we're going to have to take a little bit of a break. When we return, it is going to be the St. Clair Saints versus the University of Alabama Huntsville team in our Champions Division, so you really aren't going to want to miss this. Stay tuned.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they hold holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NECC2 stream, week 1 for Rocket League. Once again, my name is Bass in the Past, joined on my side by Hypheria and Hype. We are here in our third series of the day. Had a little bit of technical difficulties as Rocket League loves to update at the worst of times, but we've gotten through it, and now we're all good to go. We've got the St. Clair Saints versus Alabama Huntsville, and I believe this is Alabama Huntsville's main team, their blue team here, because we're now in the Champions Yellow Division, the highest division in our Rocket League field, so we should have a heck of a matchup on our hands.
I'm looking forward to this. We've been kind of sketching the scenario tonight of you want to make those mistakes, or you don't want to make those mistakes, but they happen, and you have to capitalize upon them. That's not really going to happen here anymore. These players, they're playing in the highest level of competition, and St. Clair versus UAH is going to be a banger of a match. One interesting fact, though, is that St. Clair's lost 3-0 against Purdue, and Alabama won against Purdue 3-0. So I don't know what to make of that, but that doesn't look good for this matchup.
It's a bit odd. Purdue's not necessarily a team also that many people think of as like one of those top schools for Rocket League. They're not a team that I even believe is in CRL, or at least not previous to the season. I've heard some things about how the new Purdue roster has been pretty solid, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be one of these things that is going to completely determine today. But yeah, it's definitely a bit odd. When one team goes 3-0 against them, and then the next team goes 0-3, you'd have to imagine something's up. But I don't really know. St. Clair have been one of these teams that they continually come back time and time again with extremely impressive results. They've been on CRL pretty much the last 3 seasons straight, so it's one of these things where I have to expect that they come into this one the favorites, but who knows? Maybe Huntsville can surprise us.
I hope so. I want to see an interesting match. We've not seen a Game 5 yet today. We've gone through 2. We've seen a 3-2, or a 3-1, and a 3-0. They were tantalizingly close at times, but I think this is going to be a slapper of a matchup here, Bass.
Oh, you gotta hope so. I hope that this one goes back and forth, but it's not really up to us. It's up to the players on the pitch. It's up to this first game in this best of 5. Again, we do have a best of 5 here, so plenty of time for these guys to feel each other out, plenty of time for them to figure out what type of attack that they want. And I know for St. Clair, they're probably gonna come into this one pretty methodically. I can see that their coach is currently in chat. He's always talking with the team, always trying to get them hyped up. And I'm not sure if Alabama Huntsville have a coach as well, but I think if there's ever a time to use some strategy, today's gonna be the day.
Yeah, you want to utilize that the best that you can, and there is another way for that strategy to be put into effect, right? Because it is really hard to adapt on the fly. If you have a certain idea in your mind, to be able to actually put that plan into effect, that can throw you off massively, because Rocket League kind of is a game of snap-second decisions, and you just go for it, you see what works, and you roll with it. And as soon as that snap-second decision is wrong, well, you're in a tough position.
Yeah, absolutely. It is not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. I think the big thing here is that you have to come into this one with the proper respect. If you are not respecting your opponents and understanding that they will capitalize upon your mistakes, you're going to be left out to dry, and it's not really a good thing. We haven't seen a lot of teams get stuck in no man's land here tonight, but if it's ever going to happen, it's going to be in this series. So I'm excited to see this one. We've got game number 1 underway. St. Clair versus University Alabama Huntsville. It's time to get this one going.
Here we go. St. Clair versus Alabama. It is going to be a banger of a matchup. And going into the backward, Fusion is there to clear it away. Skates in field. That's a decent pass, but the extension will be pretty tough, and Fusion has a pretty easy catch while he tries to bring it along to the other side. Actually, that's an opening. The flick is weak, but that's actually just a setup for Spoons who's going to ram it on through.
Immediately out the gates, we find our first goal here. And as you can see, Spoods rocking that Summer Series Elite. So if you didn't already believe us before, talking about how this team's been in CRL, there's some evidence for yourself. And that evidence has now led them to a 1-0 lead, not even 30 seconds into this.
Fusion out wide. Skates wants to get it back, but it was a counter-attack, so they still need to be a bit careful on the side of St. Clair. Even though they get that opening, they can't get complacent. They're going to have to stay in check and try and dominate their opponent the slow way. But once you're getting physically dominated on the goal line and getting bumped out of the way, that opens up the net for Skate, and he will convert.
And there's why we're saying we're going to have a back-and-forth series here tonight. I really do not expect either one of these teams to run away with this one, but apparently no one knows how to even run away within the first minute of this game. Immediately equalized. Now we go back to another kickoff that I'm hoping has some less volatility than the last, but honestly, who am I to complain about volatility? When it's these two teams battling, I want to see all the shots I can.
I'm expecting a fair few mechanical abilities as well, you know, trying to get that out there, trying to flaunt the fusion. To the backboard, double tap not going to be coming through since there was a player in the way. Josh now bringing it down to the other end. Come on, easy catch. The two first names going up against each other.
The two first names going up against each other, but apparently there will be no winner. Still another half a minute gone, or almost a minute at this point, besides that last goal. It does feel like both of these teams are starting to settle down a little bit. Out the gates, they were firing all cylinders blazing, but oh, maybe they're still firing a bit too hard. Double commit on the side of UAH, and it's going to leave them vulnerable as a counterattack comes through. Fusion on target, but Josh to clear it out for now.
Spoods was able to keep that in the attacking half for just a tad bit. X a bit awkward on it. Demo happening as well. Skates on Kamal. Josh now sends it forward. That's going to bounce a bit awkwardly. And that midfield battle currently being engaged heavily. And not really having a winner on either side. Sinclair and UAH, they're not really breaking through. And that's what you can expect from this kind of matchup.
Yeah, you're going to expect a little bit of a feeling out period here in game number one. I wasn't really expecting them to have goals just kind of flying immediately, but it does feel good to see that both teams kind of just sent the house to start off, and then we get into this little bit of a settle down. We're basically halfway through game number one. Both teams have not had another real shot since the first strikes. Oh, but this could be a real opportunity. St. Clair, very awkward position here. Excuse me, UAH in an awkward position. St. Clair's going to try and take advantage. Fusion up to the wall. Can't quite get a 50-50 to go his way. And X should alleviate some pressure, but can they turn this into an offense? They might even turn it into a shot. Josh just a little bit behind the ball, and they'll have to go back to the drawing board for now. Oh boy, that demo pretty big. I think that probably would have been a goal had that not arrived.
7 to the center. X, phenomenal pass back. Skates, he just wants to extend, and Josh was going for the demo. There's a bump there, and X is yet again cleanly getting through the work of his teammates.
Oh my, a second goal comes through here. UAH is putting on the pressure. 2 minutes remaining. Now St. Clair, they got to try and figure out a response here, and I am getting a little bit of info here that this is not necessarily the St. Clair team that they're going to be running with in all competitions, so they have a rather unique lineup here for the NECC, so this may be the lineup we see throughout the season. So even if there is a little bit of issues they gotta iron out here, they seem to be okay with that. 2-2 as Fusion ties us up.
Sure, it might not be their main roster or the roster they're running with every single time. Make it less phenomenal of a roster. All these players still very remarkable, and also on the side of UAH, they're more of a unit, it seems like. They're working together, bumping, and thus opening up the goal line, while St. Clair tries to get goals like this. You know, just stunt on your opponents, and it looks phenomenal when it works, but it doesn't count for any extra goals, hence why we're in a tight scenario. Spoons, that's a phenomenal read. That's ridiculous.
All right, Spoods, come on now. That's just not very nice of you. The team has a family, and probably one that's watching and going, oh my, what just happened? Narrowest of angles, and he'll take the lead back for St. Clair. 100 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time for a comeback at UAH, but man, what a shot.
What a shot even doesn't even do it justice. I don't really have words for it, but here's what I mean. It counts for exactly the same. We have banged top corner.
You're asking for mechanics. I did not expect that they'd already be displayed in game number one. Look at the angle that X gets for this one. Josh gets a great 50-50 to set him up, but you just don't really expect him to slot that in with defenders in net. But I guess you're going to have to expect that at this point. These two teams playing at the utmost abilities here, the peaks, if you will, for both of them. And this is still game number one. Hype, we haven't even gotten more than a 5-minute game so far.
We're getting bang for our buck here, and well, that is another one. Skates from the midfield line to catch the final defender off guard, and Fusion falls apart.
That's a bit unfortunate. You can see they just push a little bit too far up. I'm not sure who made that challenge through the air. They were kind of aggressive, hoping maybe a 50-50 would work out in their favor. But unfortunately, not quite able to do so. So now with about a minute 20 left, it's time for St. Clair to find a response. Maybe Spoods can do it again. No such luck. And instead, it's up to Fusion to try and keep this in that Alabama half. It's kind of difficult here. UAH getting to get a lot more opportunities on offense. And if they put in another right here, right now, they could close out this game, but no such luck. Josh a good 50-50, but it's not going to be enough. And St. Clair, a chance to respond. Oh, what a demo.
Josh doesn't have any boost, and that's unfortunate. He does pick up 100 there in the corner. But who cares? Josh just takes it for a nice little stroll on the park, spotting a few trees on the way, and spotting a nice, cute little dog as well. But now it's back to game time. Josh, Fusion into the center, skates out to the side, and X not able to convert.
Able to convert, but the good thing is with 30 seconds left, either one of these teams has a chance to either close out this game or possibly find a response and send us to overtime. Josh wants to possibly close it out. Instead of leave it to Skates, who might have a double touch. No, Spoods gets in the way. And St. Clair, they're not going to stop. They're going to put it off target. I don't know if that would have not been saved, but I can tell you one thing, Spoods, you might have wanted to just let that one roll, my friend.
Well, Josh, he wants to go down the other end, doesn't care about a roller, doesn't care about a stroller, just wants to bang this into the back of the net and secure their game for Alabama. But come on, we might just have one last set of 14 boost and quickly shut down by Skates. And Skates also puts it into the box to the ground, and Alabama take the first game.
They do so in very narrow fashion as well. Definitely not a game that was overwhelmingly in favor of Alabama there, but it did feel like St. Clair, they're getting a bit impatient at the end there. Not that they played poorly, but you could see it. The offense wasn't necessarily clicking to the same degree, so they started rushing a lot of balls. That final shot from Spoods, a really good example of that. They need to take a deep breath here. They are very, very much capable of being able to turn this one around through the back half of the series, and we're not even at the back half of the series, to be honest. We're only after game 1. So game 2, a huge chance for them to respond, and I believe they can do so, Hyperia.
How was that only game 1, though? I feel like we're at the back half already, but you know what? Who cares? We're right here, up in this second game. Alabama, they've got a phenomenal first game victory, but as soon as St. Clair starts going, that's where you're going to have to be afraid. They've proven time and time again that they do have that pop-up potential, but have not been able to find it consistently, and Josh is not able to find his boost button consistently.
I'm a little bit confused on this one. Josh had a phenomenal first game. Maybe he's just a bit caught off guard, and oh, he might have tripped up on the post there. Came off the back ball, wasn't really expecting it, and Hype, I think you and I can both agree. We've been there before. Not a fun spot to be in.
Hey, I think Josh did it a lot better than I would have done in that position. Spoos taking it to the skies and trying to go down the line, but well, that's a good 50 through. Actually, nah.
Almost. Close enough, though, at this point, because honestly, St. Clair, they've already gotten a goal on the board. They just need to keep up the pressure here and not allow UAH a way back into this game, because, again, you think about the first game, it was back and forth, volatility constantly, shot after shot after shot after shot, and eventually it started to calm down. And once it calmed down, the goals became a little bit more far and few between, so St. Clair, they've got to be careful right now. Yes, they do have the lead, but if they let this one slip away from them, that's all the momentum that UAH could ever need.
Fusion trying to fake out Josh, but Josh doesn't bite until the time is ripe. Out to the left flank. Skate takes closer inspection on this player, but he's going to have to trail this one through, and Spoods bangs that up high. Skates back into the center. X backing down. Fusion into Kamal. The ball's a bit too far forward. Fusion still, or actually Spoods has an opportunity, and now it's Kamal. We can bang this into the center, but there's no teammate there who will receive her. And that's unfortunate. The ball going loose.
It's going to go back center, though. A chance for UHH to possibly be able to get this one in, but they just keep on kind of banging this ball without much purpose here. Another good example is X just kind of goes up for this one full force, hoping that maybe something will connect. Meanwhile, on the other end, passing plays, executing perfectly. 2-0, 3:20 left.
St. Clair, and this is what I was talking about, right? That pop-up potential that they do have, but hasn't been able to come out in that first game, and all of a sudden you see it bubbling, you see it closely getting up there, and UAH, this is where they have to be frightened. Josh going up early, across the pitch he goes. X will be there to receive and tries to go down the line, but the ball far forward means it's out of hands.
out of hands, but it's not necessarily meaning that it doesn't see a counterattack out of St. Clair here. They seem to be in full possession and full control as they just don't seem nervous. Again, game number one, there was so much volatility, so much back and forth from these awkward positions and awkward touches. This game, it seems like St. Clair have come with a game plan and they're executing near perfection. Kamal maybe just a bit off target, but at this point you can tell St. Clair have finally woken up. Can there be a response though out of UAH? Oh, they needed a goal right there. Skates will play this one perfectly, and it's not necessarily going to be enough. The defense just way too prepared.
The defense prepared. They're meal prepping every single time, and they're gobbling up UAH every time. St. Clair, you need to be careful though, because they do have some unexpectancies, and do they have contingency for it? Kamal says absolutely we do. Takes it to the skies and goes up high. The musty absolutely not working out, but X now trying to go across the pitch. It Spoods, he cuts it infield, dodges the demo, dives over it, but now Fusion back in defense, bangs that wall. It's going to be picked up by Josh.
Picked up by Josh, but is it going to be enough to start up another offense here? X will get another touch towards the center, but Kamal easily able to deflect that one out and then send it back out to midfield again. St. Clair, they're unfortunately just not giving the room for UAH to find any sort of good offensive pressure here. They're finding offenses, but when it comes time for a solid shot, it's not being found, and instead, Spoots will send it the other way. A bit surprising, as I expected that one to at least be somewhat to the center, but too much power, and I think it even surprised the St. Clair side, because they're restarting their offense from square one. Almost able to get a shot, but is that on? That's in! X, the first goal for UAH!
This could have 1 inch outwards. 1 inch to the left, and that would have bounced out. That was ridiculously close, and X is playing fire. He's lighting the fire underneath the booties of UAH. This is the time. This is where he can catch some wind, find the momentum, and bang that second goal as well to tie it back up. But X, he's lost control of his car. No recoverable position. And Spoos decides to go out wide. Skates had that read from a mile away, though.
And it read from a mile away, but can they figure out a way to at least memorize the textbook here? It feels like with a minute left, UAH have a lot of work left to be done here if they want to find a response to St. Clair. They are getting close, but the shots need to be on target. That one's not either. No, it's off the post. 3 shots in a row. Every single player from UAH getting involved in the offense, and still Hyperion. They cannot find the back of the net.
Come on, infield Spoots there as well, but come on. We'll be able to convert this play. It's Josh. Takes that for a stroll. Goes up high, Kamal catches it, and St. Clair are doing a phenomenal job at keeping this into the attacking half, where UAH are just looking for a breakaway opportunity, and they're not finding it more consistently or consistently enough that it actually bears its fruits.
It's not quite able to bear anything at this point here. They're trying on repeat to just find some sort of good shot, but all the shots they've had have either been off target or they just aren't enough to make the defense flustered here. St. Clair, a lot more confident than their first game, and all they have to do now is hold on another 10 seconds and they will find their first win. They might even find another goal. Fusion's not done. He's putting on more shots, but maybe at the detriment of his team. Well, had that been a counterattack, it would have been, but a double commit, unfortunately for UAH, is going to stifle any opportunity they have, and St. Clair are going to take game number 2.
That's it all tied back up, and we're in for a series here. We're in for a little bit of a back and forth, and I do like that. Not one team taking the reins, taking the game by the horns and directing it towards its victory. No, they're going to have to fight for it. The bull, and whoever loses ends up being the man, I guess. Yeah, surely that works, right? In that analogy, the bull is the strongest one.
I guess so. I mean, technically, usually I'd give it to the crossbar. Crossbar always seems to be the strongest defender, by far the toughest. It can take any single shot that rings off of it and, well, bounce it away, basically, is the best way to put it. Or sometimes in, because, well, the crossbar is a fickle being. But that is not here nor there. The more fickle thing is now we're down to 3 games left in the series. The next team to win this one, Javier, moves on a series point, and we've emphasized this many times here today. That is a very important thing, especially in week 1 of a season like this.
Oh yeah, you get that initial victory. You have a little bit of relaxation after that. You don't have to stress it out. You get to scope out your competition in the VODs and everything like that. See, and usually you have some preparedness for them already. You're pretty familiar with the other teams that are in your division, being on the match point. And having 2 attempts at it, that's got to be pretty massive. So just bag it up directly. But unfortunately for the teams on the pitch, there's only one who can take it home.
That's the way that it is. Name of the game, if you will, here. There's only one winner. But again, this is week 1, so they have chances for more wins in the future, but maybe not against each other unless a rematch happens in playoffs. But first, they both have to get there, and in a tight competition like this, there is no guarantees. Our top division here at the NECC has seriously strengthened. I mean, Hype, you and I are around for basically the beginning of this. I was the first caster picked up by the NECC outside of the original crew, and first person I brought in was you. And then now you look at what we have here today. 4 divisions, if I'm not mistaken, multiple subdivisions within those, and just hundreds of teams. The NECC has come so far, and the competition that we are now able to provide you guys at home is just something else, my friend.
What was it, 172 schools that
Something
have
like
entered?
that, yeah.
And these are at the peak of that. These are at the top level, competing at the highest collegiate level everywhere across the nation. And we do get to see him in that 3rd match as well. All important, not necessarily a tiebreaker, but it will decide who gets to be on match point first.
Big one. It's a very big one, especially considering that the momentum in this game, I would say, has definitely started to slip away from University of Alabama, Huntsville. They're not necessarily playing badly, but again, you think about the way that that game went, and it felt like for most of that 5-minute period, St. Clair were in control. So if you want to switch that up, you got to do something to make them uncomfortable. Get an early goal, get in their face, and make sure that St. Clair can't stunt like the last, because some of the goals they hit in that one, oh my word.
Yeah, no, you don't want to come up against that. That's just... It's scary, man, and to see somebody run at you and flaunting the entire way through as well, it's just intimidating. You don't want somebody to be flaunting when you're engaging in battle, but St. Clair, they love flaunting. They will keep it up, and their styling, come on, he's not going to be able to style there, just has to settle for a simple dunk. Won't be ascending or ascent on target, but here he goes to the skies. Game number 3 is underway, and seemingly a good start for St. Clair.
Ooh, they're putting on the pressure. They are putting that one into the bar, but I think Fusion did that intentionally to try and bait out some defenders, and it's exactly what they've done to the defense with very little boost, and it could come back to bite them. Josh, though, barely pinches it off his own post to keep it out for now, but you can see Huntsville in a little bit of a tizzy as they throw all 3 players at that one. Skates has no boots. Someone dispossess him. Eventually, Fusion gets there, but University of Alabama just getting away with highway robbery there.
And they actually need to rob a goal because they've bagged a lot of loot and they've come up empty every single time. St. Clair, big clear away down the other end as there is a player there to follow it up. Josh on the right flank, waiting for Kamal to get his touch, but that's too far away. Kamal, that's a great touch, and X, he's able to pick it up in the center afterward. Fusion can deny the touch there out at all, and Spoos will land on the play.
He'll land on the play, but he's not going to get it out of the half here. Still more pressure being put on. Huntsville put a shot on target. Fusion barely able to just get the littlest part of that ball and keep it out of the half. And it'll do wonders for the team now because they're going to march into an offense here. Fusion will put it high. That's a double commit out of UAH, so you can tell they're on the ropes, but you can also tell no one's center. Spoods, he retreats a bit too far back, and what could have been a huge play to just capitalize over vulnerability has fallen to the wayside yet again.
They're on the ropes, but it's a game of tug-of-war, and they're pulling the balance of power in their favor, quickly getting the team down the other end. But Fusion, he's able to extend his aerial stay, then is having to settle for a 50. Does do 2 players in with that 50. Spoos pass straight into the hands of X, who tries to connect with Skates, will only do so once it reaches the backboard where Kamal will be residing. Josh into Fusion. Fusion puts that up high. Skates is there, but that's straight through the center. That's a scary ball, but Spoos decides to just put it right in the same position and up high as well. Fusion, it's not torture, but it will be on target, and Josh has to work to get it out.
They're trying their best to get it out, but they still can't even get off the half. Huntsville finding a lot of good clears, but they immediately find a St. Clair player. So halfway through this game, not a single goal on the board. This is definitely a lot more controlled of a game than the last 2, but it doesn't mean that the outcome's going to be any more predictable. Neither one of these teams has had a definitive shot in quite some time. I will eat my words, though. Caster Curse as Fusion combines with Spoods to find the first goal.
Great boost management here by Spoos. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the goal himself. That would have been even better, but there was even a player in front of it. Alabama, they were expecting the peak out of Spoos, but they weren't expecting the ram through the center from Fusion. Spoos right off the get-go gets stopped quickly in Fusion. He's in a predicament and a half. X will get the better of him. No dish coming through, and it's Kamal to clear it away and bring it out to the dishwash.
He's trying his best. He'd love to wipe that goal clean here. You know all of UAH is just hoping to equalize here as quickly as they can, but it's a bit difficult. This defense from St. Clair has really stepped up the last couple games.
Oh.
But what if you just take them out of the equation? Bump in front of the net and Josh will score.
Body. What happened to Kamal here? No chance. X just slaps him out of the way. It is phased down to the goal. X just wanted to score first, but he did it with a player. Then his teammate was able to follow up with an actual goal. And that ties it all back up.
I mean, Hype, you could even say that X gonna give it to you, honestly, at that point. And, well, he did exactly that. And with about 100 seconds left, they're gonna have to try and do it again, because at this point, we said it already, a very integral game. Winner of this moves on to series point, and if someone doesn't get a goal here at the end of this game, I will genuinely be surprised. The volatility apparently has not ended.
They're not willing to settle for anything less than ending this in regulation, but since both teams have that stance, we can assume that they'll be fighting heavily over it. And whether they will come to a conclusion, that's up to Fusion right in this instance. Tries to pass it along to Spoos yet again. We just placed it up high, and a lot of St. Clair's attacks are not straight towards the net. They take a little bit of a detour every single time, whether it's worked efficiently for them. I think at times, if you put the variety in there, then it's incredibly efficient. So, as per example here, but Fusion gets stopped by Skates.
I gotta be honest, I did not think that anyone would get a save there, let alone two players be prepared. Apparently, UAH a lot more ready on this back end than they were the past couple of games, but can they stay prepared for the last 40 seconds of this ball game? At this point, Hyperia, we're in that golden goal scenario. The next team to strike most likely will take it, and Spood seems to think that St. Clair should beat that squad. More shots ripping off and more offensive pressure, but they need something solid here, Hyperia. We've seen this already. A solid shot is one thing, perfect shot are what is going to be necessary. Kamal with a triple tap, cross the goal, and puts it away. Are you kidding?
He's going to be called Kama after this because he's handing out L's. That's crazy. That's a nutty goal. And to put them in the lead as well for such a pivotal game for St. Clair's. Now they actually have to hold on to it, though. 19 seconds is ample time to try and mount a comeback. But you do have to put on the thrusters.
Oh, you not only have to put on the thrusters right now, you need to strap them to your car and hope that they never turn off. Full guns ablazing here for UAH as they get their last offense of game number 3, and they're not even going to find it. Instead, there might be a goal going the other way. X is going to keep this up. Oh, but Kamal's going to demo the... not player on the ball. Wait a minute, Skates has time and space. He's going to pop this center. Is anyone there? No! Skates misses it off the ceiling, gets so incredibly close. But instead, St. Clair hold on and take game number 3.
And they win it yet again with a peaking moment. 2, actually. So it really seems one of those cases where every single time St. Clair score, we can't really do much analysis. We just have to say, hey, fair enough, that's unstoppable. We're going to have to deal with it. At that point, it kind of becomes a game of outscore your opponents and try and peak on them as well. Obviously, outscore your opponents is always the case, but in this case, there's not really any mistakes that you're making. You're just going to have to play better.
Yeah, that's the big thing here, is at this point, this is a mechanical battle here. The defenses are playing well. The midfield is pretty prevalent. We've had a couple of double commits here and there, but that's the thing. When you're at this level and someone double commits, it doesn't really matter if the rest of the rotation can make up for it. So, yeah, it's pretty much the peak battle at this point. These two teams just kind of stunting on each other, hoping to show some mechs. Skates trying to do that immediately out the gates here in game number 4, and to be honest, they kind of have to. If Alabama lose this, that's the end of the series.
Can't afford a loss here, and X, he wants to prevent that from the get-go. Kamal putting a foot in the way. Fusion was foot in the door in this attack, and Spoods, let's get that along the pitch, but it's Josh on the clear away. 50 engaged as well. Good follow-up there. And Josh realizing that he could not leave that at one tap as Skates tries to fake it out, and then actually Josh takes over. A surprise attack out of the bushes, but that bounce is terrible for them.
don't even know what to say. Honestly, for the sake of UAH, I'm just going to move on for them because that's got to hurt. There's nothing really else to say. So now they've got to fight back. A minute gone here. A huge opportunity fallen, but at least they're not going to concede immediately after. St. Clair will put on the pressure, but here comes a shot the other way. Fusion to deflect it out. Hopefully connect with Spoods, who can maybe send it back to Fusion. No X saw the plan through and at least interrupted a little bit. It's not enough to get it off the half, but at least UAH seemingly have recovered.
Well, Fusion deciding not to turn in. He did have 0 boost, so it is a bit of an awkward scenario there, and you can make him an argument either way, but that's a good demo for Josh to try and relieve some pressure on the attack. They first have to make sure they don't actually concede, though, and there they go. That's the relief they needed. They take a big, fresh breath of air, and they're going to have to prepare for another attack at some point, but currently it's UAH. UAH attacking.
Trying their best here, but again, we've seen this already. The last game, a great example, as the goals were extremely far and few between. So now, can we find that goal that separates the two teams here? What is going to be that strike that just sets the tone here in game number 4? Because we are in a bit of a stalemate. It's not necessarily a lull, but it's definitely just a, oh no, back and forth with no one really finding a solid result. Not even finding shots on target. UAH, another huge opportunity, but just a bit off the mark.
X diving in, and Fusion goes wide. Smart play, and then actually misses the play thereafter. Josh on the clear away, clears the goal line. Now Kamal wants to go to the skies. X quickly shutting him down, bumping him out of the way, and completely relinquishing any opportunity there. St. Clair's, though, it's still 0-0, and they have not been able to peak UAH. They're just playing consistent now.
They're playing very consistent at this point. Doesn't seem like any mistakes are being made, or maybe there's one that we can highlight. The inaccuracy for UAH has absolutely left them in just the most detrimental of positions. Alabama Huntsville have had so much good pressure that I don't think they've retreated to their own half in probably about a minute or two here. But unfortunately, when it comes time for the shot, they just can't seem to get it past the last defender. Whether that be a good save in front of the net, whether that be shooting it into the bar, something's got to change. Lethal shots need to be made, because now with just underneath 2 minutes remaining, the next goal that goes in could be the one that determines the series, but only if St. Clair can hit the mark.
It's just terrifying, and also leaving the ball like that is terrifying. Skates wants to get that opportunity going. X only barely getting a touch, putting that up high. Fusion into the backboard, set sail for it, but Josh punctures a hole in there. X quickly returning the favor as Skates. That was not the bounce he was looking for or hoping for. Spoods evading the bump from Skates from behind, tries to bump Josh out of the way as well, barely missing out. Kamal now into the skies, 30 boost in the tank, and Josh does not lie down easily, and he will run nuisance.
You will run a nuisance, but is it going to be enough to continue this pressure here? Spoods thinks not. He's going to try and take this one all the way to the other half. And with just a minute remaining, any little mistake at this point is what's going to separate the two teams here. We say this a lot on Stream Hype Area, but I think now more than ever is it prevalent. When you have this type of back and forth gameplay with no one giving an inch, it's either a peak goal like we've seen the last 2 games, or it's a glaring mistake on the defense that opens up a gap. I gotta hope that it's the first of the two, because we've already seen it so many times tonight, but usually it is the latter, and right now, it's not! It's gonna be a save on the line! I thought that Josh peaked, but apparently Kamal, he peaks a little bit higher!
That angle was crazy, and then Kamal to clear of the goal line. That's blatant disrespect, but that's exactly what you have to do to your opponent to try and get the better of them. Disrespect them right in their face. Spit on it if you need to, and X, he's gonna spit this ball out to the backboard, gets the double tap to extend the attack. But Spoods with a big 50 will clear it all the way down the other end. 50 not happening. Skates just dives on past it. Still into the center. Fusion maybe on the rotation, but Spoods there. Still up into the air. And that also is the question, who's going to be the winner? And that answer is up in the air.
Here we go, overtime, game number 4, and like we said, this could be the biggest game of this entire series. St. Clair with a chance to close out the series here, and they just might find it early, because this is an open... But Fusion puts it off target! He wasn't expecting the defender on the backboard to miss, was trying to read where the redirection would go, but in doing so, they've missed a golden opportunity.
Oh my. That was crazy. They doubled, they still got it to the backboard, and... they missed in the end. Fusion driving backwards. You hear some beeps there. Spoods driving that flip.
Wait, what?
No, not have it end like this. This is chaotic. Josh is able to get some control, but come on, he still rams it through. That's a scorcher and a half. You're down to the right side of the goal.
This unfortunately feels like that scenario we talked about. One little mistake separated the teams. It wasn't the mistake that cost them the goal, but it's the mistake that snowballed into all that awkwardness on defense. UAH felt the pressure of the St. Clair Saints, and as soon as that amounted, the cracks were found and the chisels were slammed on through. Congratulations to the St. Clair Saints. You have started off your season with a 1-0 start in a 3-1 victory, and they do so from behind as well. Alabama Huntsville take the first game in that series, then it's 3 straight going to the Saints.
It was one of those series where you can't really win. They played consistently. They did everything they could, except for that final part where they slip up once, and St. Clair are all over it. Where St. Clair, they do get away with a fair few mistakes, and I think that punishment factor really crack the whip and make sure that there's absolutely no way that you let anybody run loose and allow anybody any space.
Yeah, that's the big thing here is you just can't let them run loose like that. Giving them any extra momentum, any extra ability to just stunt on you, it's going to be your downfall. There's no two ways about it. And, well, unfortunately here for Alabama Huntsville, that was their downfall today. But they get more chances in the future. We have not finished off our day here, though, High Fury. I believe we have still got a single series left. If it is still on, we have got UAH again, this time with their challengers team, their white team, instead of, I believe it was their blue team that we just saw. And we've got Valparaiso, or Valpo as many people know them. It is going to be the Challengers Black Division, but it's going to be when we get back from this break. So do not go anywhere. We will return in just a couple moments.
How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rocket League week number 1 at the NECC on the NECC2 stream. Once again, my name is Bastin Passion. Alongside me, my main man, Hypheria. And Hype, we are on to our final series of the day here. We're going to see some familiar faces, or familiar universities, if you will, because Alabama Huntsville is back yet again. It is their white team this time, though, versus Valpo, and their Valpo team has been around for quite some time, but it's interesting. These two teams, I think, are ones that have a lot of question marks up in the air because they've done well. They're in the Challengers Division. They're pretty high up there, but they went through the Challengers Division without any competition in the preseason here. 4 wins in a row for UAH White, 3 wins in a row for Valpo Brown, so it's one of these things where both of these teams have kind of just sweat through preseason, and now comes their first real test.
I reckon there's something going on, right? Because one of their victories is apparently against Valpo Brown.
Oh, what?
Valpo Brown won against Valpo Brown. 3-1 as well, so I'm not too sure what went on there, but hey, that's an interesting one. Maybe it's just a different Brown team, or maybe a different Valpo team. I don't know, but it does not matter. They still have 3 victories. Let's call it that. And going into this matchup, we've been talking about it the entire night, but the tone will continue to set in this exact order. This is the opening week. This is where you want to show yourself off. This is where you need to try and prove that you are the top dog and you need to be taken down.
Yeah, that's the big thing here at this point, is sort of setting that tone, like you said, being able to understand that there isn't necessarily the most impactful results here this week, but it is going to give you some good momentum going into the following weeks, being able to sort of assert yourself with some confidence, being able to be prepared and be ready for any sort of test that'll be thrown at you throughout this incredibly long season. Well, the season has officially kicked off. Game number 1 underway in this best of 5. Like we said, it is University of Alabama Huntsville. They are back again with their white team this time versus the Valparaiso team on their brown squad. So I'm ready for this one, and so is UAH. First goal on the board already.
Camille already from an angle, proving his dominance in this instance. Those shots always seem so simple, but they're nasty. They're treacherous, and well, he fared incredibly well. Right opening there by Alabama. This is also how their previous team was faring, but B-More wants to get that second goal on the board as well.
I gotta appreciate, we go from a game with Kamal to a game with Camille, and then instead of the A's that Kamal has taken out, now Taka's in here. So, seems like we're just kind of switching around names at this point, but you know, who might complain? Because apparently we're gonna have to remember these names after today. Is UAH out the gate showing us some impressive stuff, good defense on the back end as well, but is it gonna be enough to keep this one out entirely? Cole Rocks with a good touch to the backboard, and B-More to keep it out, but Obliviux, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name yet, is gonna be there in the wings waiting. At some point, I will figure it out, I guarantee you. But for right now, we're just going to go to a little bit of a stalemate back and forth.
Obliviux. Basically oblivious, but just make it simpler. Or tougher? I don't know. He missed the ball, though. That's in between. I mean, is there an in-between? At that point, it's just the exact same, right?
Yeah, no, never mind. Fair enough. Maybe one day you'll figure out how to read it right.
It's in between more difficult and easier. It's just, yeah, it's the exact same difficulty. Well, either way, the exact same difficulty over winning this game is not the case. Valpo, they need to fight back a goal here against Alabama White.
Obliviux actually has some time and space in the corner here. They've got no boost, but they can still somehow keep this center. They even get it to Cole Rocks, who I don't think was the intended pass, but somehow arrived and received it. So, well done to Valpo right now. They're putting on the pressure, but maybe at the cost of their defense. Taka with a good 50-50, and that will show the vulnerability and strike first.
Trickery in the angles. UAH. They're up by 2 now. Simple stuff from them. Those angles are always sniped out. It's such a light work for them. Valpo, it's their time to strike. They're trying, but Taka is just quick. Is just quicker than Master Seb. And now the attack by UAH will be squandered by Oblivious.
A little bit, unfortunately. It doesn't seem like they're understanding how important this first game is going to be quite yet. I know that it's not necessarily going to determine the series, but like we said, giving a team too much momentum and confidence can really make the back half of the series all the more difficult. And right now, it seems like that's exactly what's going on. UAH White are doing a good job at just building up this confidence, building up this pressure, and continuing to instill every one of these players with the utmost confidence and courage to just challenge everything at this point, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're throwing themselves at everything. Even if they miss like B-More there on the back end, it's okay, because they will have other players ready and quick enough to get to the ball. A great example is Camille just gets to that one and does not let anybody interrupt. Halfway through this game, High Fear, there is plenty of time for a comeback, but Valpo really feeling the pressure from this Alabama squad.
To the backboard. Oh, there's a double tap. Oh my word, Camilla with a double, triple something, whatever. It looked like a double tap, and then it just turned into his own little double tap.
Oh, so the 1, 2, 3 in that are for the amount of touches. The first touch, second touch, third touch into the net. 3-0 here. UAH doing a good job and not only setting the tone, but really showing, hey, Valpo, you want to get past us, you better be prepared, because these boys aren't just peeking here today. They have summited the mountain and have decided to plant a flag.
Taka is going to even build that mountain up higher, or it falls down quickly down the steep rocks into a tiny cliff. That he's going to have to get himself out, but that's only in his mental. That's only in his mind. He'll be able to get out of that roller easily. I hope for him. B-More down the other end. A little bit of boost, but no pinch down onto the ground and underneath.
Oh, speaking of underneath, Cole somehow gets a back pass to his teammate. I thought Seb was about to put that one center. I was going to say there is no way that works out as a goal. It may still. Perfect pass center, and Cole rocks. He rocks that on target.
Nice. B-More, the clear away, unfortunately. Yeah. Cole rocks. Pace on it there. That's quick outpacing the opponent. Valpo That's at least something back. 90 seconds, 2-goal differential. That's not unheard of, and they're going to have to try their darndest to get this back fully. Seymour on the other end to the backboard. It will land into the edge of the box, but they can't suffer another goal. They do not have the facilities to.
I mean, we've seen crazier comebacks here tonight from the exact same division as well. Another Challengers game where 3 goals were scored in a matter of 40 seconds. They don't need 3. They just need 1 Obliviex to put in the second.
Simple stuff. Yet again, it all seems... It's one of those things, right, where it seems simple because the players are doing it so fluently. And as soon as you try it yourself, you notice yourself angling your car way too far back, air rolling way too far out to the side, or banging this goal over. And Camille, he perfectly places that on target though. And UAH 2-goal leads established yet again.
Yeah, they're just kind of killing the momentum there, and it's a really perfect shot to do exactly that. When you have all 3 defenders try to at least make a touch and none of them can keep it out, it's definitely going to stifle some of the momentum that had been building against you. Excuse me, but with a minute left, you have to imagine that Valpo aren't completely out of this, although this could take them out of it. Taka wants a double touch. He's going to leave it down center, but B-More, he recognizes he doesn't need another goal, so he's not going to overcommit. I appreciate the hesitation, because otherwise no one would have been there for the defense.
Yep.
Apparently he needs to be there twice in a row, though. Obliviex to find another.
This is an interesting one. Tripping over the post. So
been there.
unfortunate. You skid off and you can't recover it in time. And all of a sudden, this game has turned into rabonkulous situations in UAH. They need to be aware they're bearing on treacherous waters.
Oh, my word. Yeah, the treacherous water is probably an understatement at this point, because you can tell the momentum has not only slipped away from UAH White, but it's really starting to go in favor of Valpo here. They've got a lot of good offense, they've got a lot of good momentum, but they need to be careful. If another goal comes through, it would have been curtains, but there will be none. The show must go on, and it must go the other way as Valpo try to start up another offense. With 20 seconds left, Hyperia, they've got enough time for maybe one more attack.
Camille could put them in the dirt right here. Camille just running interference, doesn't want to let them run loose at any point, keeping them constricted in their own back half, and this breakaway needs to happen quickly, but instead it's Bieber who just dunks on him and gets this game in favor of UAH.
We use this phrase a lot. We say the dagger. That is beyond one. He straight up stabbed him in the back. Master comes straight, does not expect him, and from behind, all of a sudden, B-More is there ready to slam it home. 5 seconds left, and at this point, Valpo are going to have to look towards the next game. They did not play this one poorly, but the unfortunate truth is that as soon as the momentum was in their favor, they had to play from behind the entire time. So UAH White, they hold on to the lead, but do so just barely.
Only barely, and they really had to scramble for that one. Their eggs were getting beat up, and well, luckily they didn't come out on top. Or luckily for them, I'm obviously impartial, but that was a bit more blood than they were expecting to be had on their side, and the losses were great. Now they're still going to have to recover, even though they won that match, right? It is scary to drop so many goals in a row. And the real loser is only one. But it's only game number 1. Who cares?
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's only game number 1. Plenty of time for these two teams to feel each other out, figure out how they want to play, and rebound here. And honestly, that's the same thing here for Alabama. That one slipped away from them pretty severely. So if they want to not have that happen again, they've got the ability to do so here in game number 2. Now, again, I say they have the ability. There is no guarantees, especially at this rank. Challenger is incredibly volatile. We've talked about it this entire night. So you do need to be careful. If one little mistake happens here and all of a sudden the momentum just starts to build in one direction or another, you're going to need to be able to adapt on your feet, think a little bit quickly, and figure out how to make those necessary changes. So let's see, can they do that? Game number 2 underway here. Alabama have the first, and if they win this, they move on to series point.
Taka, we have to start this off. B-More puts himself up in the mix as well. And the clear away should be happening. Masters, a decent clear out wide by Cole Brooks. It's a rather slow start on both sides, but UAH, they're pressing the issue and they're looking for a way through already.
They're looking for a way through. They're also looking to maybe not clear it out of the opponent's half without any necessity there. UAH kind of colliding against each other. And speaking of collisions, 50-50 going to leave Obliviex in a really awkward position. Just kind of has to clear that out and hope that maybe someone can find a follow-up, and indeed they will. Master Seb actually finds it back to... no, I was going to say Cole Rocks on the other end. Obliviex and Cole trying to go for a passing play, but maybe the solo instead. Not a B-more has anything to say about it. From what was a rather calm first minute to chaos during the next. Hypheria, I have no idea what to expect out of this game too.
Master Sib will try and lay out the plans for you, but B-more is obviously going to intercept, and I think we can expect a lot of that. Just attempts, intercepts, and battles that go on everywhere in the pitch, but there's no battle for Taka here. It's just himself, and he puts a stick in his wheel, trips himself up, and that's unfortunate. That's squandered an opportunity that they will get back with Camille. He still has to deal with a floating defender in the way. B-more into the center. Taka tries to ram it through, but Master Seb is no ghost, and he won't be able to force it through him.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how we don't have a goal at this point. Valpo, praise to you, because the defense here has been able to stand up against every single shot. UAH have had a flurry of them at this point in every little direction, but it's not gonna be enough. Instead, maybe some redirects like this will be necessary. Master Seb tries to catch the defense off guard, but it's a little bit off target. This one, though, is gonna waterfall down, and he'll find the follow-up. Valpo to take the lead.
Master Seb always in that nuisance position and in the perfect position. Why would he be there? Nobody knows. Is it the perfect position? Absolutely. And Master Seb, he's able to spot it out there. 3-0-3. Still plenty of time to bring it back for UAH, but it is one of those things where they do need to start pressing the issue. They've got the opportunities, and they do actually need to score them, and that's going to go up the crossbar, and yet another one of those opportunities, those phenomenal ones, go awry.
Oh, that should have been a goal, just a bit off the mark, and unfortunately in a game like this with a high level of play, you cannot afford to miss shots like that. Valpo absolutely wiping the sweat off their brow, but they can't get too comfortable yet. UAH are still going to press the issue, and as B-more dives in out of midfield, you can see how aggressive they have become. They want to force the issue. They do not want to let Valpo find any free space here, even if it means some 50-50s that go into some awkward positions, but they'll be able to recover. They'll find some good offense. They'll find a shot on target, but they'll find Cole Rocks in the net halfway through game number 2, and Valpo holding on to their lead.
Only barely as Camille stand ahead further, but Taka decided that he felt like front flipping and getting out of the position. Master Seb fakes it out. Cole Rocks reads that and does bang it forward afterward, but a double commit, that's going to squander an opportunity potentially, or maybe facilitate a counter-attack for UAH. It's a big boom over the top, but I think the rotation already went through, and Cole Rocks is indeed in position to try and deal with it, but they're just banging it behind him every single time. Camille, that ball way too far forward and still into his hands, so that's an open net. He's not going to miss those.
We talk about this a lot. It's the little things that separate teams, in a triple commit like this. I don't even know if I can call it little. This is a bit too big of a gap for someone like Camille to not take advantage. Ties us up with just over 100 seconds left, and if there was ever a goal to stifle momentum, that's the one.
They've had plenty of opportunity, but not been able to force them through, and then finally cracking that seal, that could open the floodgates. Valpo, they have to be careful, and their defense needs to be prepared for an onslaught of attempts. Also on the side of UAH, they can't start faltering in defense. This is scary.
Well, every single little play feels like it could be the ender here. With underneath 90 seconds to go, we really are in that golden goal scenario where every little touch matters, and Taka seems to know that. He's going to keep this one close as he tries to get out past midfield, but instead it's B-more who is there to keep it up, or at least I thought. The flick not going to have enough power, so instead it's up to Camille to try and keep this in the half, and Taka will help him out in doing so. Pinch towards the center. Is anyone there? B-more is up, but it's not enough. Cole Rocks to keep it out, and again, the Valpo defense stepping up when necessary.
Taka, he still wants to crack it though, and the defense that's been stepping up, sweep their legs from underneath them, or their wheels rather. B-more, that's a fantastic pass into the center, and Camille there to facilitate the goal for UAH.
Another come from behind victory here as UAH are able to hold on and find themselves a goal late, but maybe I shouldn't call it a victory yet, because with 43 seconds left, I could eat my words if Valpo find themselves a quick response. There's still a chance at overtime, Hypheria. Heck, there's still a chance that Valpo could just win it outright. They've got enough time, but now they just need a goal.
B-more, he's trailing. Master Probably should call him Seb. Mill goes out wide. 20 boost. That's an open net technically, but the cut infield needs to be happening. Great wave dash. Be more there, but an even better defense. Cole rocks and Cole stops. Camille misreading that touch, and this is absolute chaos. But Valpo, they still need a goal, even though they got away with murder.
How on earth did they not get scored on there? The shot just barely off the bar, and like you said, this is something where they should not be alive right now. This should be over and out, but Valpo will get one last chance. Master Seb will get a read off the ceiling, but B-More will deny it. Spikes it the other way, and I think this should be the end. To the ground it goes, and UAH White, once again, in the narrowest of fashions, find themselves their second victory.
Have to scrape the bottom of the barrel yet again. They needed everything out of their own bodies, and they have another game to go. Are they gonna have the momentum, the energy to complete this one? Because they are playing at under high duress, where every single chance for them is massive, and it's honestly a 50-50 whether they're actually going to convert. And that, it makes you, even though you win in the end, obviously that's a relief, but it does make you a bit annoyed because you could be winning by so much more. Valpo, though, they need to quickly be on the counter attack.
Yeah, that's the big thing here, is it does feel like Valpo are still a little bit complacent when it comes to their transitions here. They don't want to send the house because they are so scared of these volleys that go cross-court and can go directly into their net. We've seen a couple of them ring off the bar. We've seen a couple of them ring off the backboard. But what happens when one goes on target and you don't have a defender prepared? It's the question that keeps on ringing through that Valpo mind. So they need to kind of shake that at this point. As much as I usually am complimentary of that, it's coming at the cost of their offense right now. Their offense looks efficient, but if they can just have one more player following up the ball after each shot, I think they can take this one.
It's one of those scary things where you don't really want to. Oh, okay, hello, first goal. That's quick. That's Taka forcing it through right off the kick.
I mean, usually we get a little bit of time to talk about it. You know, the game starts up and a kickoff goal could happen here or there, but 13 seconds in and already a solo play, not even a kickoff goal? Not boding well for Valpo here, Hypheria. This is already going to have to be a come-from-behind victory.
That's an interesting one. Didn't really get to see how that one unfolded. Cole rocks. Oh, what a floater. What a beautiful one. Cast it from different distance and gets the net.
I mean, it's a beautiful shot, but unfortunately, yeah, Taka just pushed a bit too far up. Well, that's one of these things that it takes some time to figure out. A lot of players like to push just a little bit off the line, thinking maybe we can jump a little bit quicker than our opponents and not have to play a defensive posture. But UAH, you can't underestimate Valpo. They have been so close in every one of these games, so if you abandon that defense for even a moment, it could come back to bite you, and B-More seems to know that. He will intercept out at midfield, where another one of the Valpo players were waiting, but it's not going to be enough to get it off the half, or at least not immediately. Eventually, a boomer goes cross-court, and I thought Valpo might be a little bit exposed, but apparently instead it's actually going to be UAH. They're scrambling to get into a defense and barely put that off. Oh my. B-More needs a follow-up save, and UAH going to thank their lucky stars. They have not gone down.
Oliviex into the corner. Master Seb wants to bang that on the backboard, but it's Cole Rocks who forces it through, and they're counting their lucky stars, but now they actually need to still get out of defense because this one's floating on target. B-More there to stop that from going in all the way. Cole rocks into B-More down the side, extends, doesn't really get the follow-up, nor it gets a bump. Oliviex underneath the play. B-More touch will go to the backboard, but it seems like UAH are being a bit passive.
Playing this one odd. I don't really know how else to say it. It feels like that first goal kind of rocked them, and now they don't necessarily want to send the house every time. They're just kind of waiting until that opportunity arrives. And to be fair, that is something we've seen out of Valpo. They do have these moments of awkwardness on defense, but if you don't force them into those awkward positions, they're not going to arrive nearly as often. And speaking of awkward positions, you can see everyone on UAH is desperate to keep this off the half, and they cannot get it out. Obliviex finds themselves a goal from a beautiful bump in front of the net.
Taka getting bodied not once, but twice there in that play in Valpo. Is that the first time they've taken the lead?
No, because they had that early first goal, I want to say, in the last game, right? Like, they had it for maybe 30 seconds. But you are right, it's only been 30 seconds, and oh no, is it going to happen again? Well,
even less.
Is that a caster curse? Does that count?
We'll count it. We'll allow it. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
It is a caster curse. But it's not good for Valpo Brown, mate. I don't know why you're cheering. Come on now. Insensitive.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that that's going to be something to celebrate at this point here. But you know what is something to celebrate? Now we get to another tied ball game. Because to be honest, as a fan, you never want to see a team dominate. You never want to see it go either way. I'd like to see an overtime here in Game 3. And, well, Valpo, they'd like to at least see an overtime and not a defeat here. Because if they lose this game, that's a sweep in favor of UAH White. So they got to play this one carefully. They got to keep on ripping shots like that. I'm not sure who went through the air to try and get a redirect, but I'm loving the way that Valpo are just using this air efficiently. They're connecting so well, but is it at the cost of their defense? No, Obliviex able to get back in time.
Beamer up high. Cole still in the way of it, but Camille, he likes to utilize the air as well. Master Step with an in and out and does make a connection. That's the most important part about those. And Cole Rocks all of a sudden a breakthrough. And not the boost nor the recovery. Try and follow that ball up. Taka needs to control it. That's a decent bang to the backboard, but it's Camille with the clear away. Cole Rocks there to try and pick it up. There was somebody hanging in the corner, and that's such a tough angle. And at this point, where it's a tied ball game, you are in a tough position. You're under the gun. You can't get yourself out of rotation like that for exactly this reason.
What? Taka, come on, man. We're talking about how you guys are playing hesitant, and what do? You pop out of the corner at Mach 7 speeds and immediately get to the ball in front of the net. I don't blame Valpo for not being ready there, because we've seen that bounce many times, but that's the first time we've seen someone read it with perfect accuracy. Speaking of perfect accuracy, it's not on target. I thought that was gonna roll on in, but oh no, I don't know if I cast or curse that, or if that is just an unfortunate shot.
And you and your caster cursors, you're the downfall of Valpo.
Please no.
Well, I mean, we even talk about caster curse and missing opportunity.
Oh,
there's another one though. Cole Rocks. Oh no, he misses that out on that opportunity, and that was a big one.
I'm going to say that's a caster curse on you this time. And to be honest, at this point, at what point do we stop saying that it's the curse's fault and have to assign some blame on Valpo here? They've had so many opportunities, so many little things that have just gone barely awry. But at this point, they need to settle down and control their nerves. They are still very much in this. With just over a minute remaining, all they need is a solid shot, but it will be denied for now. Backboard defense and UAH survive.
Mill into the center. There's nobody there really for the follow-up shot, but they do have a little older combination. It's still UAH in the lead. Camille trying to lay an egg on that boost. Whether he got it, it seems to be not the case, as Taka has asked to take over. Steals the boost out from underneath Cole Rook, but he doesn't care. He will stroll on through and get a demo on the way. More into the center. Obliviex keeps this ball close with zero boost. He actually ends up panicking, won't be able to get that mid boost either. Taka running interference, being a nuisance all across the board.
What on earth is Camille doing, though? He's now just left his team vulnerable, and yeah, that's why we say one little mistake. This challenge out of midfield was not advised, and oh boy, Cole Rocks will take advantage along with Seb. Ties us up with 25 to go.
And Taka wrong-footed. No chance of recovering there. You're just going to have to accept the goal happening. You don't have to accept this overtime. You could still end it in regulation, but one of those teams do need to score. And Taka, he wants to set himself up to the backboard yet again. Another time there, a master step on the clear away. Cole Rocks on his left flank now, cutting in field to facilitate a passing option, but Beemore, he takes it to the skies, rams it further through the double tap. He does spike it down in front of the goal line, but it's just slightly wide.
Oh, it's just barely off target, and I think as long as this one hits the ground, which apparently no one wants to let it. All right, there it is. Overtime, game number 3. A bit poetic that it's a 3-3 scoreline going into our third game in this overtime. But now for Valpo, they don't care about how pretty this looks. They hope to put a 4th one up and possibly keep the series alive. UAH, on the other hand, though, they seem to want to close this one out. They're already firing off shots. 2 go a bit high, but they're already on the offense in Hyperia. It seems the fire has been found for UAH White.
Valpo, they're nasty on those 50s, so being able to manipulate them in a matter where UAH don't really have anything to say about it, and those infield cuts, Master Sip could end it right here, but it's Oblivia who gets an eye by Taka. A massive force, Camille down the other end, quickly stopped by the remaining defender. Cole, they're away. Master Seb, Cole gets taken out entirely, and Taka takes his time, and that's going to hurt them.
It's going to hurt them, especially considering that Obliviex has time and space, and there's no defender. Colrox will arrive, but the defense will get prepared. Camille to put that one out to the side. I thought for certain that was doomsday for this UAH white team, but they will somehow survive a minute of overtime. Can they survive a second? Taka seems to think so. Desperation clears as UAH just try to survive.
Massive step down the line, but Obliviex gets it his way, and that allows Beemore a bit of time, but he still panics. Didn't realize the bump was happening. Communication not coming through as Valpo been into the attack in half the majority of this time. In overtime, they do need to actually crack the seal. Colrox loses control. Taka, no boost to try and get this follow. Beemore into the center. Beemore now quickly back on the rotation. Needs to gather some boost as well. Will scrape by with a 100 pad in the corner. So Taka up high. Beemore with that 100 pad, getting it off into the midfield, but there's no really there to try and convert.
It's a good pass from Taka had anyone been there, but like you said, they're not really linking up to the same degree. It feels like UAH are just kind of sending themselves here, constantly strapping down that boost button and hoping that eventually they'll be quick enough to find a solid shot. That probably should have been the one. Beemore now has unfortunately left Taka in an awkward position, 2v1 as they try to go the other way, but Valpo still unable to get past this defense. We're starting to see this pattern in overtime now, Hyphear, and I'm getting a bit scared. Valpo not spending that much time on their opponent's half. They'll have a quick one-and-done offense, then immediately go to defense. And while I don't think it's a bad idea, if you want to try and make this defense uncomfortable, there needs to be follow-ups to touches like that. Master Seb puts it perfectly center, but no one prepares.
Taka into Obliviex, and there's no follow-up on this directly either. I do agree. I think it's a great point that those follow-ups, they're afraid because every single second this ticks on, the more pressure will surmount, and the more afraid you will be of a mistake, and at some point there will be one of those that does get hammered home. You just don't want to be the one to make it, and UAH, they're double committing, but they're not making a massive mistake thus far, but they are getting put on the back foot, and they quickly need to go into the attack.
Just look at the space being given here. You can tell Valpo are playing a much more defensive overtime, and it could be to their detriment, because when you give time and space to Beemore and Taka, they will punish. Beautiful pass center, and UAH clean it up with a sweep.
Taka's been taking some reading lessons. Those corner reads are no match for him, and UAH, they take the win. 3-0 sweep. Valpo Brown, and unfortunately for Valpo Brown, they didn't really have much to say about it. They had some decent quips, some quick ones, but they were answered back quickly every single time, and the arguments out of UAH in the end were just more solid.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing here, is it just feels like UAH at the end of the day, they're just a little bit more prepared here today. Not to say that Valpo were a poor team, but I don't know if there was any point in that series where I really thought that Valpo had the edge, if that makes sense. They played very well. They lived up to the standard that they needed to. The levels were pretty much even, but when it came time for that little bit of advantage, that thing that boosted them above UAH, it just was never found. The good thing is for them, though, this is only the first week. They have plenty of time to look back at this footage, look over everything they did here today, and recover in the following weeks, because Hypheria, that unfortunately is going to be the conclusion here. NECC2, this is the end of our stream. But we want to thank you guys for tuning in here. It was an incredible way to kick off the season, and Hype, I can't wait to do this again next week, my friend.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it, and well, the main stream is still going on, so the Rocket League action doesn't end just yet. We'll hopefully throw everybody on over there.
Absolutely. And, well, if you guys would like to keep up to date with everything the NECC is doing, whether it's this stream, the other stream, or anything in between, make sure to go follow the socials. I believe we're going to have them linked down below. But if not, just make sure to go check out NECC and Esports on Twitter. Or you can also probably find the links through both myself and Hypheria. Our links to our Twitters are going to be down below as well. So, please do keep up to date with everything that the NECC is doing. Keep up with the action here in the Rocket League division. And also stick around as we send you guys over to our main stream. Thank you again, Hypheria. Thank you again to our people behind the scenes that were helping us out here today. Shout out to Narwhals and shout out to Samster, the two guys helping us behind the scenes. They couldn't do it without them, but also we couldn't do it without you guys, the fans. Thank you again. We will see you guys next week. Go ahead and enjoy some Rocket League action on the main stream. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't playing no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said.